already hiccuping. That's fun. And... Oh, hi, Kat. You caught me at the worst part of live streaming, which is trying to find my own stream and trying to do self-promotion. I hate this part. I hate it with a passion. Yeah. I should be more pumped up about this since I've been streaming a bit. Not very consistently, unfortunately, but I've been streaming for a bit. And also Dizzy Dokuro was just doing a stream that I was watching because I like Dizzy Dokuro. So I should be pumped. I should be excited. I should be good at self-promotion because I am also streaming just like my idol Dizzy Dokuro. But I'm not good at self-promotion. Yeah. Now let's see, where else do I promote these things? Ah, but yes, I haven't streamed in quite a while. And I've wanted to. I've just been extremely busy, and I haven't been able to do much of anything because life just kept throwing activities in my direction. So that part very much sucks. Let's see, where else do we go to promote ourselves? That is the question. Let me see, where else do we go? Again, this is the worst part about live streaming. Promoting oneself. It's such a bother. Because you have to go basically just a little bit of everywhere to do anything, really. And I don't have any background music set up either, so that also sucks. I could try to find like a nice sonic track to put on the background. But this is very much Guerilla Style. I just wanted to stream for a while, so here I am. Because one, I'm bored. Two, I really wanted to stream at some point in June. Because I knew I was going to be busy this month. Oh, hi, Kat. Hi. Yes, get on my lap, dear. Hi. Hi. Oh, look at you, you little hip-hat slut. Thank you for joining me on this stream, kitty. You make the tension... You reduce the tension, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So, oh my god, June has been so busy. And this is my first Zatsudan. For those not familiar with Japanese and like the Japanese side of VTubing and streaming culture, a Zatsudan basically means free talk, or like a talking stream, where anything goes, basically. Some people use Zatsudans to answer questions from the audience, talk about updates and news. So, yeah, I guess this is my first ever Zatsudan. And that's because some really exciting stuff happened, some boring life stuff happened, cat stuff happened, which I am dreading. But yeah, that is just the way life is sometimes. Sometimes life is just, I want to stream, I want to do stuff, I want to do things, I want to have fun, and then life is like, no, you gotta do all this other stuff first, and I'm like, okay, I'll be on my way to do all that stuff then, and I'll just want to stream in the background, and the need to stream will be killing me inside, but yeah, so I'm alive, and it's very nice to be alive, and I finally have a little bit of time to myself, because for the rest of the week, I'm probably going to be busy. And it's terrible being so busy, but here I am, yeah. And at least now I have a cat on my lap. So that always helps. It's always nice to have a cat nearby. They are lovely animals. But yeah. So, as the title suggests. This one, this is Guerilla Style. Two, this is a Zatsudan, so it's a talking stream. I do have Clip Studio Paint open. I'm not really going to be doing art though. One, because I have no idea where my tablet pen is, so I can't. So if I do draw, the drawings are not going to be very high quality because I'm just using a mouse. And two, I'm really only using Clip Studio Paint to show off some pictures. And the reason I'm showing them off in Clip Studio Paint rather than just straight importing them to OBS and just flicking through all the tabs on OBS is because, the pictures that I'm actually going to be showing off are taken by a friend. I have credited them in the description of the stream, so give them a follow if you'd like. Especially if you like trains, be warned, there's like a lot of trains on their feed. So if you don't like trains, maybe don't give them a follow, but if you do like trains, I mean, hey, he likes trains. Oh, and there he is in the chat. Hello, Mr. Blue. How are you doing? And I love how I love how your first chat message on this stream is just one of our in-jokes. That's very fitting. Thank you so much for cutting the tension with a knife right there. I'm not very good at this. Like, every time I'm away from streaming for so long, I forget how to do it, and I forget how to talk and function like a normal person, but here I am. The reason I'm in here. Okay, what I'm gonna need you to do, I'm gonna need you to just record yourself doing a couple takes of that, and then one day, if I ever get Streamlabs or like other stream notifications, I will just set them as stream notifications whenever I'm playing a Sonic game. Because I've talked a few times about the certain friend who just haunts me with his Sonic impressions. That's the guy! So it's this guy's pictures that I have credited in the description that I'll be showing off on the stream when they are relevant. And that's also the same person who haunts me with the Sonic impressions. So yeah! Oh yeah, the reason why I'm showing them off in Clip Studio Paint is one, because I have a lot of tabs in OBS that I really need to organize and I didn't want to add more tabs. And two, in some places I will need to censor faces, so that's why I had opened Clip Studio Paint. And yeah, it just works better for face censoring on the fly. And I mean, for now I really only picked the pictures that I won't need to censor too much because they're either really far away shots or pictures of people that are very much well known in the Sonic community already. So yeah. Oh, evening. New face I haven't seen before. Alrighty, so I went to the Sonic Symphony when that Sonic Symphony happened in 2022. It was a stream on the YouTubes, and it was available for free, and that was very cool and very awesome. And then shortly after that, they said they would be doing tours, and then for a while we didn't hear about the tours ever again. Apparently, the reason why there was such a delay between announcing tours and then actually getting the proper announcement for tours was because there was a bit of a delay. Like, I think the story is saying it kind of jumped the gun and said, oh, we're going to be touring the Sonic Symphony around the world, but not everybody was on board for that. So they had to basically schedule everything, and then the tours happened. So that was really cool. So, my good friend Thomas Blue over here, I think the tickets went on sale the day before Christmas last year. And so he messages me, like, Arthur, the tickets are on sale. Do you want to go to the symphony? And I'm like, of course I want to go to the symphony. And so he orders the tickets. And then, months later, we ended up going. And it was this past Saturday, and it was awesome. So, like, as soon as that show was over, I'm like, oh my god, I know what I'm gonna do for my next stream. I have to talk about the symphony, because it was just so awesome. Like, it's like that Pepe Sylvia bit. Can I talk about the symphony? I need to talk to you about the symphony. Just very much like you need to talk to someone about Pepe Sylvia. Yeah, it was such a nice show. It was so awesome. It was a wonderful experience. It was my first live show that I have seen since I was a child. and it was worth it. I totally recommend going. But then also the other thing that was interesting about the symphonies was that when they first started touring, I think they started in California, and then they just kind of hopscotched all over the world, and then they just did their show in New York this past Saturday, and that was really awesome. But um, there were clips on Twitter floating around of one of the live shows in California, and they had Casey Williams. If you don't know who Casey Williams is, she's the cousin of Hayley Williams of Paramore fame, and you might also know Casey Williams if you've watched a lot of Ruby, because she sung a lot of the songs for Ruby and even voiced Neo in, the Blaze Blue cross tag, that crossover game with Blaze Blue Persona, that one fighting game that I keep misnaming. It's like Dark Knight Underbirth or something. And then it was also Ruby characters. So she voiced Neo, and obviously Neo, if you know anything about Ruby, does not talk. But at least in Blaze Blue cross tag, she has like small like barks, which are just small bits and bytes of dialogue, basically, when starting the fight, and it's just a giggle. So I think Casey Williams also just voiced that giggle for Neo. And it was very much speculated, like, oh, if Neo were to ever talk, she'd be voiced by Casey Williams, because Casey Williams already did it already. But yeah, Casey Williams has her own band. I don't know the name of that band at the moment, but they were at one of the California shows. So that implied, okay, each live show is going to be different. So it's worth going to as many as you can, because the content might be different every time. And boy howdy, I was correct. So the New York show took place at, and this is where I get Clip Studio Paint up and running. Let me go to the appropriate picture. It took place at the United Palace in Manhattan, which is a very nice theater, to be fair. And the architecture looks like that. Look at that architecture. It's gorgeous. They had this beautiful statue right in the middle, and the painted background, and look at all that molding on the walls and on the ceiling, and look at them chandeliers. It's gorgeous. It was such a beautiful venue. It was a beautiful venue. If I were ever in the position where I was looking for a venue to host a live show, this would definitely be a contender. However, even though the venue was nice, and I have another picture of the venue over here. So this is the other side. This is where you would enter the building, and this is what you would see when you would enter the building. Yeah, the building, beautiful. The staff, however, completely different story, not very beautiful. So, because this is a live show, there are a lot of people. I think these people are dealing with Sonic fans for the first time in their lives. So there was a lot of security at this event. So we had to go through metal detectors, and we had to get all of our bags searched if we had, like, big bags, and we were frisked on the way in. So, I have my bag, and I have my cane, because it's been hard to walk without a cane. So I have my cane, and I have to point out, like, hey, can this go through the detector? Because I literally need it to walk, because it's hard to walk without it. They were like, oh yeah, like, you could just bring your cane in through the detector. We're not gonna, like, ring you up for that, obviously, because, it's a disability device. So I walked through my cane, she tells me to, like, T-pose, and then, pats me on the sides. It's like, okay, you're clear. And then the security lady investigates my purse. So she unzips it. And thankfully it's only a purse with, like, one giant pocket where everything goes. And she's searching my purse. It's not even full of much. It has a Sonic plush, it has a canteen of water, and a handful of other things. And it's mostly tote bags, to be honest, for when I go shopping, because I don't want to pay for a bag. And there's also a Danish, because I didn't think that I would eat that day. So I brought myself a Danish, just like a prepackaged Danish that I bought from the store. But then she finds my canteen of water, and she's like, oh, is this water? And I'm like, yeah, it's water. Oh, I'm gonna have to dump this, because, no outside food or drinks. Meanwhile, she did not find my Danish that was sitting below all of my tote bags. So, really shows you how good security was, if they were very strict about the no food or drinks policy. But it's my water. If you think it's alcohol, just open up the canteen and give it a sniff. And all that. It's like, water is a human right. So if you are a venue that does not allow water, a basic human right, something you need to live. Like, if it was a soda, I could understand, you know, you wanting to discourage me from not bringing in my own soda. That I could understand. And I don't need soda to live. But it's water! For all you know, I need to take medication at a certain hour and on the dot, and I need water to take my medicine. What if I choke and I need something to drink? It's water. It's not going to hurt anybody. I'm not chaos. I can't, or kitsune, or kitsunami. I can't manipulate water to harm you. So, yeah, that was fun, having my water be dumped. And it was ice water, too, so you know it was going to be cold and wonderful the whole time. So yeah, she dumped my water. And then my lovely friend, Mr. Blue over here, goes to the metal detector. And I have a Danish in my purse. He has a bunch of candy that he brought in with him to the show. Because prior to going to the venue where the show was taking place, we went to a nice little place in New York City called Economy Candy. It's one of the oldest candy stores in New York City. And they have a whole bunch of vintage and import candy. It's wonderful there. I love Economy Candy. I even have a tote bag from Economy Candy. So he just stocked up on all this vintage candy before going to the show. And they didn't find his candy, so again, really shows how seriously they were taking, like, each individual investigation of bags and purses and all that. So he manages to sneak in all this candy. I sneak in my Danish, but I'm still pissed off about the water. And when I'm pissed off about something, that's when the little spicy Latina in me comes out. And I'm just kind of, like, angrily muttering to myself, to Mr. Blue over here, like, oh, it's my frickin' water. I mean, seriously, like, water's a frickin' human right. I mean, come on, man. Like, what if I was choking or dying or something and I needed water? So yeah, he could tell that I'm pissed off. And he's trying his best to wrangle me and, like, calm down, honey. You're fine. He's trying to, like, wrangle me in like a cat who doesn't want to take their medicine. Oh, Night Fury Lover, hello! You have to go to the Sonic Symphony? Lucky, hi, Sim, hi! Yeah, so this is my talking stream where I kind of talk about my experience at the Symphony and kind of do a review about it of sorts. If you're not familiar with the term Zatsudan, it basically just means talking stream. Yeah, so there's no gameplay or anything right now. I do have Clip Studio Paint up. I don't know if I'm going to draw anything because right now I'm stuck to just having a mouse because I can't find my tablet pen. But also it's for pictures. Yeah. And it would just allow me to censor the pictures a lot better than just showing the straight pictures on the stream. Yeah. So yeah, we go inside, and obviously we're met with, like, the beautiful architecture of, the United Palace venue. And then as soon as we go in, the place is crowded. And I mean crowded. With just Sonic fans. Some are in cosplay. Some are cosplay binding. Or, like, just, I think, no, it's not cosplay binding, it's just binding. Binding is a particular kind of cosplay where it's meant for you to stealthily cosplay in places where you are not normally allowed to cosplay. Like, Disney is a big example, where you are not allowed to wear a costume in the park unless it is Halloween. So, like, costume binding or bounding is where you just dress up similar enough to the character where people might be able to get it based off of your color scheme or, like, particular accessories you have, but you're technically not cosplaying outright. So in the case of, like, Disney bounding, if I wanted to be Ariel, for example, I might dye the tips of my hair red. I might wear a purple top and, like, a green skirt or something. And then that's going to give you the impression that I'm Ariel, but I'm not technically Ariel, so I can get away with it. So it's meant for, you know, you just want to cosplay without actually cosplaying. Especially if you actually cosplaying would be a hazard, or it might get you kicked out of a venue. So yeah. Yeah, so there was also a merch table, and I desperately needed the bathroom as soon as we got in there, so Mr. Blue goes off to get merch, and I go off to find the ladies' room. Obviously I didn't get any pictures of the bathroom, but my goodness, the bathrooms there were cramped. So you have all this nice architecture, and it's just, like, it's so vintage and wonderful and regal and elegant, and then the bathrooms are, like, heavily modern, they're gray, they're sterile looking. They also have the worst lighting. They had the worst lighting. Everything looked gray and dark. It looked like I would get stabbed in that bathroom. But yeah, it's just a bunch of Sonic fans and, like, parents with their kids. Just, like, you know, washing their hands, trying to pee before the show. And, yeah, the stall's also not very roomy. And I'm walking with a cane, so I kind of need a lot of room. So, I'm just making do. I go to the bathroom, wash my hand in that really dingy bathroom, come out. There's a merch table right across from the bathroom. And they have a handful of shirts. They have like a I'm not sure if it was metal or like some kind of hard cardboard, but they have like a stiff looking poster that it might be made of metal or cardboard, I wasn't really sure. They had a tote bag, which I didn't see like on the little merch wall, but I saw people going around with tote bags, and I was like, damn, I kind of want a tote bag. They also had glow sticks, because people had glow sticks. And no, light sticks. Yeah, they're called light sticks. Glow sticks are different. They're called light sticks. People had light sticks, and the light sticks were like red and blue, and they changed color. I thought they were like all separate light sticks. No, it's one light stick, but it changes color. So that was cool, but I didn't see any available at the merch table. But also, the line for merchandise was so long. The merchandise table itself was right in front of the bathroom, right? But as you can see, let me open the Clip Studio. As you can see, there's like a platform. And this is why I like doing things at Clip Studio Paint. So, there's like a platform right here. That's the top of a staircase. The merch table is right over here. And then, the lower levels are, down there, below the stairs. And the line for the merch. Let me do this in yell. The line for the merch was on some other stage that I did not see. Wrapped around the staircase, then up the stairs, then over here. And you'd think, okay, well the merch table is right here, so shouldn't the line end there? No! It was wrapped around. It was wrapped around, and then it looped back to where the merch table actually is. The line for merch was that long. So, oh, there's a picture of the merch table in the picture I sent you. Let me look for that picture, actually. Because I wanted to get some of the architecture photos, and there's also another photo that I was going to censor, but that I was like, you know what, I'm just going to use the other photo with people who are well known in the community, so I don't have to censor anything. And all that. Where's the... Okay, yeah. There, I found your picture of the merch table. So, let me copy and paste that into Paint. And let me put that in Clip Studio. Yeah, so this was the merch table. So this was the merch table. But yeah. So even in this photo, you could see like the little grates and all that. But yeah. So it's like a long hallway, but it looped from the end of the hallway where where the bathrooms are, all the way back to the merch table. So then it's like, okay, at that point, why would you make the line so long? Or you could have just put the merch table somewhere else where, like, you don't have to crowd the stairs. So, yeah, I don't think organization of this event went very well in terms of, people moving. Yeah, it seems like that was kind of, not a high priority. It looks more like a merch prison rack to me. Yeah, again, it's an old building. Like, if I were in charge of this event at this venue, what I would have done was that if there was, like, an empty room or, like, an empty office space or auditorium or something, I would have just put the merch in that separate room. That way you're not crowding the hallways, crowding the stages, crowding the lines for the bathroom, etc., etc. But again, people moving and the staff being polite was not really a priority at this event because, oh my god, the staff was, I will say this, when it was, like, close to showtime, and, me and Mr. Blue, we had our tickets, and we were trying to search for where to go and where our seats were. The ushers, so polite, so respectful, and they were like, oh, you already showed me your tickets, so, if you have to, go and come back, I'll know where you are. They were so polite. Security, crab up their ass. Anyone who wasn't the ushers, crab up their ass. I don't know how the merch people were, because again, we didn't have time to go to the merch table. And because the lines were so long before and after the show. And one of the greeters, the greeters were okay actually in terms of the staff. The greeters were fine. They were paddleable. Ushers were nice. Everyone else had a crap with their ass. One of the greeters said to Mr. Blue, like, "Oh, if you want merch, I suggest you get online now because it's worse after the show. Because, you know, there's going to be a lot of merch that's already been sold. And, you know, the lines are going to be longer. So if you want merch, just grab it now." So Mr. Blue tried grabbing some merch as I went to the ladies' room. But then, you know, as it got closer and closer to shuttle, he was like, "Ah, forget the merch, I'll go after. The line is so long." Yeah, so that was fun. Unfortunately, we did not get our light sticks. And I couldn't get a tote bag. Yeah, so that was fun. And then in terms of shirts, Mr. Blue is a very tall guy, so he needs a tall size, which they don't normally carry at events like this. They mostly just carry standard size, so if you're petite or tall, good luck. So, like, theoretically, I could have gotten a shirt, but I didn't have the money for a shirt. No way I would have had the money for a shirt at that time, but also, again, because the whole people situation, because the logistics of having so many people there in this one venue just did not seem to be a priority. I probably would have gotten heat stroke if I was waiting in the merch line, because there were just that many people. But yeah, then it was showtime, and we're seated at our seats, and I don't have the video downloaded. I would need to figure out how to put like video in little tabs in OBS. This stuff's gonna get scalped anyway. Let's go. I mean, yeah, unfortunately, that's unfortunately a side effect of, life events, like real life events, limited run stuff and merch. Anyway, here I am. But yeah, that was close to showtime, which that is the one image that I ported over to OBS. Because look at the little guy! Look at the little guy who lives in my purse. Look at him. It's his show. Yay! Oh, hello, cat. I see you have commentary. But yeah, so... Oh, that's cute. Thank you! But yeah, so like I had to take it with me, obviously. Like, it wouldn't be a Sonic Symphony if I didn't bring the Sonic that lives in my purse. So yeah, I took him. And because again, Mr. Blue is the train guy as well as the Sonic impressionist guy, he did do the thing that he does where I give him my Sonic plush and I'm like, "Do you have any improv that you want to do?" And he basically has a hold my beer moment as he does horrible, crazy Sonic impressions. And Mr. Blue over here, his Sonic voice is like kind of like a hybrid between the Ryan Drummond voice and the Jason Griffith voice. At least that's how I think of it. So that's the voice I'm tortured with every now and again when we go out to functions. So, but it was very fun. So I took 3 videos of him just manhandling the plush and then just doing the voice and just saying various things. I don't have those videos uploaded to OBS. I do want to upload them to the channel proper. So that's part of the reason why I didn't upload them to OBS. So you won't be seeing them on this stream, but there was definitely some interesting video taken that day while we were waiting for the show to start. But yeah. So, looping back to before when they dumped my water and I was super angry about it. And a comment that Mr. Blue had left before. As the countdown you see in the background is starting. You and you're the reason I'm in here. So, as the countdown is going, we're like 5 minutes to showtime, and I'm still pissed off about the water, and I'm really thirsty. And not everybody has come into, this little auditorium yet. So Mr. Blue offers to get me a water. In the venue, he didn't get a... You see, he got a very nice picture of the stairs. He didn't get a really nice picture of, like, the main hall as we were entering. But if I bring up the... so long for now, Mr. Sonic. Bringing up this again. So you see this over here. That, when we were entering, was a concession stand. And they were selling, like, soda, snacks, water, alcohol, things like that. Just various and sundry fare. You know how much they were charging for water and soda? the sign said $6 for water and soda. Canned, obviously. Do you know how much it actually cost when Mr. Blue went up to get us some refreshments for the show? $9 a can for soda and or water. $9. And you're probably thinking to yourself, this must be like some ritzy fritzy water, like they're selling, to charge you that much for frickin' water, something essential for humans to live. It was a giant can of liquid death, which is a brand of water that is canned. It looks like alcohol. It's just water though. Alcohol at a Sonic event? Guess the parents really need it. I guess it just depends on the parent. Or it's for the Sonic fans that are like, the reason I'm in here is to get sloshed and listen to classical music, Sonic style. Highway robbery. Yes, it was highway robbery, and that's why they were so finicky about, bringing in, outside food into the venue. They still didn't get my Danish, though. So again, if you're that strict about, not having outside food or drink in your venue, check more thoroughly, or just get rid of that policy. Because again, everybody's different, and water is essential, so at least let people bring in water. So yeah, it was $9. The sign was inaccurate. The sign said $6 for a can of soda and or water. But no, it was $9. And I felt so bad. And even during the intermission, I told Mr. Blue, hey, I'm kind of thirsty. We don't know when we're getting out of this show. We don't know if there's a 7-Eleven or some other deli or convenience store in the area to go top up on refreshments. I will give you $20 to go pick up some more liquid deaths during intermission if we have to, because I feel bad that you had to spend that much on water for me, and then just me being pissed off about the water that I brought in, and all that. So yeah, it was highway robbery. But of course, it's Manhattan. Everything in Manhattan costs an arm and a leg. Oh, I hear you. When I went to a friend's graduation at the stadium, they charged me $7.50 for a bottle. God damn. Yeah, venues will always overcharge for shit. It's highway robbery, and yeah, so it was ridiculous. So we basically didn't eat anything at the show. Oh, liquid death is tasty. Yeah. So the thing about liquid death, it's packaged to look like alcohol. So when Mr. Blue was telling me, when I went to concessions, I thought they were giving me a beer or some kind of alcoholic beverage. And I was like, no, I asked for water. And the concessions had to be like, no, that is water. It's liquid death. Look at the can. It just says still water. Yeah, so I'm guessing kind of the reason why they're kind of packaged to look like beer is for, designated drivers and people who want to be social at places where you drink, but don't actually want to get drunk. And my friend Gary actually told me, yeah, I've been drinking a lot of liquid death recently. So I'm like, what's liquid death? Is that alcohol? Are you getting drunk at college? He's like, no, it's canned water, and I drink a lot of it. So yeah. Favorite flavor? I don't have a favorite flavor. That was my first time trying liquid death, and it was just the regular water kind. So yeah, I might look into it if I can afford it. If I can afford an occasional can, maybe I will become a liquid death person. But yeah, that was my first time trying liquid death, and it was just regular water, just in a can, which was very cool. And I still have the can too, actually. I was telling my mom after we came home from the symphony, I was like, hey mom, so they gave me liquid death, but look at it, looks like a can of beer. And she was like, oh my god, yeah, it does look like beer. It kind of looks similar like a can of Modelo, if you've ever had a Modelo beer or have seen the cans. It kind of has that same vibe to it. So it's a mostly white can with art on it. And yeah, so that was my first time trying liquid death. But yeah, so he went to get me water out of the kindness of his heart. Sorry, I'll stop interrupting. No, it's okay. This is a talking stream. That's what we're all here for. What's the point of a talking stream if I and chat does not talk? That would be very sad and lonely. But yeah, so he comes back a few seconds before the show is going to start, gives me the liquid death, and he got himself a Sprite, and he has all this vintage candy in his backpack. And then the show begins, and they do the thing they do in orchestras where they do I guess, I don't know what it is. I guess it's testing out their instruments, but it's I guess it's testing out whatever string instruments are there at the show. And then we all clapped for that. Oh yeah, I forgot another thing we clapped for was prior to the uh prior to the startup screen popping up, they had played the Sonic Shadow Generations trailer, the one that just came out like 4 different times before this little countdown thing started and the show actually started. And the first time that trailer played, everyone was just so loud, we were cheering and applauding like yay, and then the second time it played, it was like yay, and then the third time it plays like yay, and then the fourth time yay. So yeah, that trailer was kind of out. Yeah, that trailer was kind of doing itself in. I think it's to see if their instruments are tuned properly. Yeah, so that's what I think it's for. So they did that once the show had started, and then everybody clapped. And I read to turn to Mr. Blue. It's like, imagine if like that's all the show was, and then we all just went home. He didn't like that joke very much. But then, you know, the conductor comes out and, you know, does his little spiel. It's like, hey, New York. Hi. How you guys doing? Not like that, obviously. I don't really remember what was said. But he's like, yeah, just so excited to see you guys. Hopefully we can play some cool music. And then the show actually starts. So, if I can remember it correctly, and I have Mr. Blue in chat to back me up in case I forget anything. The reason why I have a blank canvas in Clip Studio Paint open is because I'm gonna try to write down the set list from memory if I can remember it. So the show opened with Sonic 1 music, and then that led into Sonic 2 music. Then it went into Sonic 3 and Knuckles. And then it went into Mania. And that was the classic Sonic portion. I hate not having a tablet pen, I hate it. I'm writing so slow and my handwriting is crappier than normal. It's just like, but I don't know where my pen is. So yeah, so that was the first portion. And that was all orchestra music. And then what was also in orchestra form was... I'm not gonna write the whole title. This is painful writing with just a mouse. I was Believe in Myself, you know, with the little two-tailed boy. And that was also orchestra. And then the last one to be played was It Doesn't Matter, from, you know, SA1. You can tell I'm tired of writing when the doodles just get progressively worse. So yeah, so that was the orchestra part of the show. And, you know, for something called the Sonic Symphony, the orchestra part did not last very long. Like, the actual symphony was probably, like, 45 minutes. Like, you know, in terms of, like, what you think of when you hear the term symphony, like classical music or music played in a classical style with traditional instruments. That probably lasted, like, 45 minutes. So, admittedly, I felt a little bit ripped off because, again, like, you kind of marketed it as the Sonic Symphony. I'm kind of expecting what was on, you know, the premiere on YouTube of that original Symphony stream, plus extra, that's, like, new to the show, like, suited for live audiences. But that was it. That was the first portion of the show. And then it goes into rock. So, yeah, that was it. Compared to the YouTube version that's available for free in full, the YouTube version had Sonic 1, Sonic 2, 3 and Knuckles. Oh god, I can't write an ampersand. Had 3 and Knuckles. Had Mania. Had both, Believe in Myself and It Doesn't Matter in pretty much the same form. And then it also, like, that was, crap, I'm losing the ability to talk. I'm trying to remember both the stream that I haven't seen in 2 years, and I'm also trying to remember the show that I saw and trying to compare and contrast the two. But yeah, then they moved on to the modern games, which, started with, they probably squeezed in a couple more, like, other songs from the classic era. In between Mania and 3 and Knuckles. But then they did SA1, they did SA2, they did 06 in orchestra form, they did Unleashed. What else did they do on the YouTube version? They did Colors. Well, back then it was, Colors Ultimate was just announced. So they did Colors last. Can you tell how annoying it is to not have a pen to write with? It was crazy. Apparently we got a Crush 40 half. Most shows don't get because the lead singer is only in a small handful of shows. So I guess we got lucky because we got a big Crush 40 section. But yeah. But, like, in terms of, like, the actual, like, symphony portion, we didn't get a lot compared to the YouTube version. That's one major difference, from the YouTube version and the version that we saw. But yeah, so what they did do was that when they moved to the rock section of the show, that's where we got 06, which it was so nice seeing my waifu Elise on the big screen. It was just like, what I wanted to do, but I wasn't brave enough to do. I just wanted to shout, Elise! I didn't have the heart to do it though, because one, I was a coward. Two, I didn't want to ruin the momentum and just the crowd energy by just shouting Elise. Because I like Elise. Elise is a waifu. She's one of those characters that, like, is amazing on paper, would make an amazing protagonist on paper, but final execution of the game punted her character to the moon. And all that. So she's a character that, like, our little cult of Elise appreciators and fans just love her to death because we do see the potential in her, even though, she was so very much shafted. And, like, if Lacey Chabert, who voiced Elise, were to come back to the Sonic community in any way, shape, or form, I'd be like, we forgive you! We really like Elise! Please voice our princess again. So they did 06. They did Unleashed. And I already said that I wanted to shout Elise when Elise was on screen, but I didn't have the heart to. Mr. Blue over here, though, when he saw the werehog on screen, and unfortunately I didn't hear it because, again, the crowd was so loud and the energy was just so... we had such a good audience at that show because the crowd just had such a good energy. Nobody was toxic. Everyone was just having a good time. He just shouted for the werehog and was like, "Woo!" And it's like, oh, I didn't hear all your excitement for the werehog. I'm so sorry. Because we kind of have this running joke. There was this one piece of art that I showed him. The art is, it's safe. I know I talk about E621 a lot, but it's a safe for work piece of art, and it's Amy carrying around the werehog as if he's like a puppy. So we kind of have that running joke between us that, like, werehog is a wuppy. A werewolf puppy. So, he's just going all hype for the werehog because of our running joke that, the werehog is just a big puppy. And I didn't hear him just, like, shouting for his boy. And, I was, that's very sad. I didn't hear him, and I couldn't join him in the, the shouting for the wuppy. But yeah. So, yeah. I mean, this is the same guy that doesn't really like dogs very much, but he does like the werehog, and we just kind of joke that werehog is a puppy. So they did '06, they did Unleashed. They did Colors, so they did it in order, when the game's released again. Instead of just regular Colors, it was Colors Ultimate. Um, what else was there? Oh yeah, they did a couple songs from Black. They did not a couple. They did one song from Black Knight. The way they snuck into the whole Black Knight one was they took a break and they were like, yeah, like, thank you New York for having like such a good energy and we like normally we have to kind of like get people to interact with us, and you guys know how to like interact, and how they went into the Night of the Wind song was interactive activity, like, okay you guys, I'm gonna need you to sing like a note, like whoa, and then the audience just like whoa, and just try to do the whoa like part of the Night of the Wind song. And so we did that, and then it led into the song. That was very cool. What other songs did they do? They did Night of the Wind. They didn't. There wasn't any. There wasn't any secret rings. Music. What else was there? Mr. Blue, I'm blanking out. Oh yeah, there was also Fist Bump. They did Fist Bump in a very interactive way as well. So they were like, after Night of the Wind, they took a break and they were like, okay, you guys, like, for our next song, I want you to raise one hand and make a fist, and then raise your other hand and make a fist, and then turn to your neighbor and give him a fist bump. And then we all knew what was coming up, so they did fist bump, and then they showed my boy Gadget on screen! They showed my boy! Like, okay, so with me and Mr. Blue over here, he thinks of the werehog as a puppy. I think of Gadget as a puppy. That is my wuppy right there. That is my wolf puppy. I love Gadget so much. I want to adopt him. He is precious to me. Yeah, so Mr. Blue saw his puppy, I saw my puppy, so it's like, yay! But of course, what they started doing for the live shows with that, Ian Jr., the one OC character from one of the Sonic staff, was mainly featured, on screen. But, they showed the trailer footage for Gadget in it, so it's like, Gadget! So I got to see both my favorite redheads. I got to see Elise and I got to see Gadget, so, I'm happy already. If I wasn't happy already, I was even happier after I saw my boy. Yeah, so then there was Fist Bump, and then there were a couple of other songs, and then, toward the end of the show, the crowd is cheering like, one more song, but then there's also live and learn, so there's just like these competing chants. There are these competing chants of either one more song or live and learn, and they're competing with each other. And oh my god, the band there, I think they just saw our energy and they just kept commenting on it. It's like, we love the energy that you guys have. And at one point I used to be like, well, welcome to New York, we're just like that. So that was fun. But yeah, so they did eventually do more songs. They did crap, what's it called? Oh yeah, there was also a rap battle, a quote-unquote rap battle, between, the Pumpkin Hill song and Unknown From Me. So, that was fun. They were like, oh yeah, New York, it's the home of, where hip-hop came along, because hip-hop originated in the Bronx. And the venue was close to the Bronx, but not in the Bronx. So the venue itself was in Inwood, which is the tippy top of Manhattan before you go into the Bronx. So we're close enough to the Bronx. I guess they thought it would be appropriate to make like a rap reference. So yeah. So first they did the Pumpkin Hill song. It's like yeah. They did the Pumpkin Hill song, and then immediately after that was just like Knuckles' song. Unknown From Emmy, and that was cool. But yeah, it wasn't really a rap battle per se. I don't know why they called it a rap battle, because that was completely different. Also, Unknown From Me has more, I don't know what genre that song would be. I guess it would be R&B, but also it gets kind of gospel sounding at some points. I really like Unknown From Me. It's a good song. It's very chill and relaxing. Sonic Symphony podcast. This is a Zatsudan. If you're not sure what the term Zatsudan means, it's Japanese for essentially what it translates to literally is free talk. And that it's basically just a talking stream. So yeah, this is my first Zatsudan. Because I desperately wanted to stream, but I'm also very busy and I don't really know if I'm gonna have the time to play any games on stream for a hot second. But it's also like, I also want to talk about the symphony, because the symphony was awesome, and I want to talk about it. So yeah, this is my first Atsudan where I am talking about it. I would have music on in the background, but considering the fact that my model broke the last time, and the music was glitching out the time before that, it's just my regular voice. And yeah, it's just me talking to the air, and also talking to you guys, and also I have my lovely sidekick, Mr. Blue, in the chat, backing me up for stuff I don't remember and other stuff that I'm remembering wrong, and just talking about like the other experiences that were had at the show, because we went together and it was awesome. Yeah. So eventually, City Escape. The song is called City Escape. I don't know why I couldn't remember the song. Henry's gonna say, "Oh, you call yourself Sonic Trash. You don't remember the name of the song." It's like, screw you! I had so much fun. My brain is blanking out because I'm remembering all the fun I had. So they played City Escape, and Mr. Blue over here again, because he is the guy that tortures me with the Sonic voice. As soon as the SA2 footage plays, I look to Mr. Blue and I'm like, "Say the line, man! Say the line!" or specifically, like, his go-to line is, "The reason I'm in here," and I was like, if they show that scene, I already know what you're gonna say. I was kind of hoping for it. I just wanted to see him smile and just go like, "The reason I'm in here." They didn't show that scene though, so he didn't get to do the line. So they played City Escape, and that was really cool. And that was awesome. And then after that, they played Live and Learn. And, there's a lot of, shadow hype going on at the moment because, of, Sonic Shadow Generations coming on. I refuse to call it Sonic X Shadow Generations because just saying the X is very clunky. So I just keep calling it Sonic Shadow Generations. But yeah, so there was a lot of hype in that room when, the SA2 music came on. And, it's very well-deserved hype. That soundtrack is amazing. As SA2 was one of the first Sonic games I was introduced to. So I do have a love for that soundtrack the same way I have a love for Lost World as, like, the other first Sonic game that I was introduced to. And yeah, so it was an amazing live show. At the exit ship them Sega wanted it. Yeah, I don't know, like, I never really read the X. Even, like, even when I was a young'un that read fan fiction because I had no other form of entertainment and no one else was going to teach me sex ed, so I kind of had to. I never really read the X as, like, a thing you say. Like, I think the X is also supposed to be, like, a form of, like, saying slash. Like Sonic slash Shadow, like, in the same fan fiction, for example. But I never really read, like, if it says, like, Sonic and then the letter X and then Shadow, I don't really read the X, so it's just silent to me, so I just call the title, like, Sonic Shadow Generations. Yeah. So, it was such a wonderful show. And then, at the end, as Mr. Blue kind of spoiled a little bit, there was an acoustic rendition of One Way Dream, at the end of the show, and then, the show ended and everyone went out. They also played Frontiers music, which was new. And it was wonderful. Granted, I have not finished Frontiers. I have it on the Switch. I have to get it for PC if I ever want to stream it. Because I don't have a way to stream on consoles at the moment. But they played Frontiers music, and it was awesome just, like, hearing Frontiers music being played. And, granted, for anyone that didn't play Frontiers, they had Frontiers spoiled for them. But, it was still nice to see my girl on the big screen at the show and just hearing Frontiers music. It was wonderful. Yeah, so I got to see the three characters I wanted to see. I got to see Elise, I got to see Gadget, and I got to see the little AI Cinnamon Roll, and it was beautiful. And it was just such a nice show. The energy was amazing. And again, like everyone had like light sticks that they were like waving with certain songs, and like the song, and you know, the more energetic the song was, the faster the glow sticks were moving. And because all I have is my cane, that's the only stick I have. So it's like I don't have a glow stick or like a light stick, but I have a stick of another variety. So I turned to Mr. Blue, and I'm like, "Hey, I have a very stupid idea." So you see my cane here, right? And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, what if I put my Sonic plush on the cane and I just start waving him around because I don't have a glow stick or a light stick? And he's like, I don't know if that's a good idea, because what if you drop him and you never find him again? But I managed to like stick my Sonic plush on the cane, and that was my glow stick. That was my light stick. That was so during the show, I was just waving the plush in the air, both with and without the cane, and it was freaking awesome. And I wasn't alone. I wasn't the only one who didn't have a glow stick or a light stick and was waving a plush in the air instead, because during the Knuckles songs, there was a kid, or, well, there was someone, I don't know if it was a kid per se, but there was someone with a Knuckles plush a few rows down from us, that was, during the Knuckles song, waving the Knuckles plush in the air, in a similar way that I was, and I was like, I'm not alone! I'm not the only one that had that idea! So that was fun. Oh yeah, there was also, in addition to, like, the rock, there was also, like, a section of, like, heavy metal stuff. And, Mr. Blue, I don't know if you heard it, but at least directly behind me, I think there was, like, a kid, sounded no older than, like, 13. I can't really pinpoint a gender, but it sounded like a kid. When they were doing Frontiers music, they did that one song that starts with, like, "Don't lock down," and then, like, everyone's trying to do their, like, heavy metal screams. And then behind me, there's just this kid. I think that kid might have a future in being a metal singer, because they sounded very good. And then for me, my attempt at a metal scream. I've never screamed metal before in my life, but I tried my damnedest at... No, I've tried metal before, but I've never shown it to anybody. Okay, well, I've tried metal before, but I never showed it to anybody. But then I was trying to do, like, a metal scream at this show, you know? As I'm hearing everyone else scream around me, but I'm trying to scream... Fuck! No, that was too high-pitched to be metal. I was just... I can't. I can't. But it's like, how do you, like, kind of like that... Talk. Oh, no, it just sounds terrible when I do it. I was able to do it at the show, but now that I'm relaxed, now that, like, days have passed since the show, I don't think I can do it anymore, is the thing. I think I just had that kind of, like, show adrenaline, where you're able to do stuff at a live show, like, surrounded by your fellow fans that you just can't do by yourself, so I was trying to do metal screams at the show. But I can't do them now. They keep coming out wrong. I sound like a screaming chicken. Oh my god, but yeah, it was so fun. I do have to try doing metal screams, though, because, like, the Frontier soundtrack does get a bit more metal compared to previous, like, Sonic soundtracks. Yeah. They also did a lot of Shadow music, because, you know, in Sega's eyes, it's the, you know, the fearless year of Shadow. You know, similar to what Nintendo did with, the Year of Luigi. So they did a couple of, you know, Shadow the Hedgehog songs. And then, when Never Turn Back came up, I have a very sad but also nice attachment to the song Never Turn Back, which I will tell you about after I take a sip of water. Goodness. That's what I get for trying to do metal screams. When I'm not at a concert. But yeah, so I have a very sentimental attachment to Never Turn Back. I'm okay. Thank you for asking, I fear lover. I'm suffering the consequences of my actions for trying to do metal screams at home. I was able to do it at the concert. I cannot do them at home. Okay, I'm okay. I'm a little bit better now. So my attachment to the song "I Never Turn Back" from the Shadow the Hedgehog soundtrack. Living with my parents was not fun and it was not easy, especially because as I got older, they kept getting more and more abusive. Uh, Never drink water, and always drink water. Always drink water, even if it's liquid death. You need a license to middle scream and have proper training. You do need proper training, yeah. Um, like I've belted out screams to Sam Kinnison's Wild Thing, but I haven't done that in many years now, so I'm very rusty. But I managed to do it at the concert. I just can't do it now. Another thing I'd like to ask: why did security dump out your water? Because they had a policy of like no outside food or drink in the venue, so they could overcharge you for water. Mr. Blue over here paid like $9 for me to get a can of Liquid Death and for him to get a Sprite. But same venue that dumped out my water right in front of me after saying like, oh, you can't have like outside food or water. They didn't find the Danish that was in my purse, and they didn't take away all of Mr. Blue's vintage candy that he got at the show. Got for the show. So either get stricter with security and stick to your policy, or get rid of that policy. um, that still pisses me off. It's been a couple days since the concert. That thought still pisses me off. It's just like it's like fucking water. It's not gonna hurt anybody. It's water. It's a necessity for life. I kind of understand outside food, but water though? Why? Exactly! It's not like I'm bringing in soda. It's not like I'm bringing in a sandwich or like a baguette or anything. I'm not bringing like a steak from home. Joke's on you, jerks. Noms on Danish. Exactly. Um, but yeah. So my attachment to the song Never Turn Back, it was, I had always told myself, like, if I ever move out of my parents' place, on the way out, like, of my parents' place, I'm going to listen to Never Turn Back and time the song just right so I slam the door on the final note on the song, and then that means, like, I am done living there. And, that is a promise that I kept to myself, and that I am so proud of myself. It's so stupid and dorky, but I'm so glad I kept that promise to myself, because living with my parents was very hard, and, you know, I got out of there before they could get more abusive. And they'll never really say a formal I'm sorry or never really apologize in words for like the stuff I endured living with them, but like we are on much better terms now where at least I have a functional relationship with my family instead of not talking to them at all. Because after I had moved out of their place, I did not talk to them at all unless I needed help for like 3 or 4 months. Because I think the act of me moving out finally showed them, like, you know, we should stop being assholes and actually treat her nice for once, because now she's, like, an actual adult. So we should probably try being nice. And that's how they stopped being as mean to me as they were before. Like, they're still a little bit mean. I think it could be just, like, a Hispanic parent thing. But, you know, sometimes they're a little bit mean, even when they love you, even when they want the best for you. They can be a little bit mean. I guess my family's just full of tsunderes. They are very hot and cold. But yeah, so when I moved out of my parents' place, I was listening to Never Turn Back in my headphones and like, you know, taking in that last box into like the U-Haul truck. And you know the I da 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 I da 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 never turn back, and on that last note I slam the door, you know, never to return. And it's very silly, but you know they play that song at the concert and it's like, it's my song. Yeah. And they also played I Am All of Me too. That was awesome. A lot of other people doing metal screams for that one. That was cool. Yeah, it was such a nice show. And then the show ended and it's like even the band, like they loved the energy the audience had, and again we were lucky we had such a good audience. We had such a good audience at that show. Like, nobody was toxic, nobody was interrupting, there was nobody being stupid at, like, while the show was going on. It was wonderful. And they were like, oh, we wish we could be here for 72 hours, you know, we could take naps every 3 days. You know, like, you know, the show's gotta end at some point. And it was just wonderful. And then the show ended and everyone's leaving, because we didn't get any photos of, like, the room. Like, this is one of the only photos I have of the room proper that we were in. The aisles for the seats, though, the aisles were so tightly packed together. It's like I'm pretty thick with 2 C's. And then Mr. Blue is very tall and a little thick, but mostly just tall. So we're having to get up from these seats and just like scurry out of there. Oh, hello, cat. And yeah, it was so annoying because like even coming in and out of the seats, like people are coming in and going and coming and going, and we have to like get up out of our seats constantly because like the aisles are so thin. You basically have to empty the row for like one person to go because there's like no walking room, and it was like leaving the show was terrible because it was just so packed with people, and we're going at like a snail's pace, and I have a cane. It's not a bulky device like a wheelchair or anything, but it's still a device that takes up space that I need to walk. So there's like barely any space for me to walk. Imagine me trying to walk with a cane. So it's like I'm moving it like every 2 seconds, like millimeters at a time in order to get out of the venue and just walk peacefully. And then me and Mr. Blue are just like thirsty as hell at this point. We both want drinks. We both want refreshments. Concessions is closed. So yeah. So yeah, remember this place? Yeah, this was concession when we came in. That's what it looks like at the end of the show. It was closed. And you'd think, like, after, the show, everyone's, like, screamed their voices out, have sung along to, like, all the songs that they know and all the cheering and the clapping. You'd think, like, you could still have concessions open and offer, like, water at least. But no, it was closed! And we're parched. I could barely talk at that point. I didn't think I'd have my voice today because it was still a little bit sore, like the day after the show. But yeah, they had to go on their smoke break. Yeah, because I think not too long after the show ended and everyone started leaving, they had like closed the theater. So I think it was like so close to closing that they can. Because like even in food service, like in restaurants, like they'll close the kitchen and stop taking orders at a certain time before actually closing the restaurant. So. Yeah. Yeah, so they had closed the concession stand. And it's like, not that I wanted to pay, like, another $20 for me and my friend to get water. But it still would have been nice, though. It would have been nice to have the option after, like, screaming and singing my throat and my lungs out. And, yeah. Dumping people's water is hard work, Sam. They need that break. But yeah, like, at least the ushers were nice. I don't know how the merch people were. I'm assuming they must have been nice, but we didn't get to do any merch stuff because, oh my god, the lines. And yeah, the one greeter guy that said, oh, you're better off getting merch before the show, he was right, because after the show, everyone's lining up to get merch, or they're leaving the theater. It's one or the two. So me and Mr. Blue, we take a daring chance after, like doing bathroom things and, just trying to find the merch table and trying to figure out, like, okay, well, what do we do now? Because one of our other plans was like, oh, let's Google and see if there's like a 7-Eleven or like a convenience store that's like 24 hours nearby. Because we don't know when we're going home and we're thirsty, we're tired, it's hot. Oh my god, it was so hot. That place was not air conditioned. So we're sweating bullets during the show. And like, we're sitting next to each other. I see the sweat dripping on his face. I don't know what he sees on me, but oh my god, we're sweating. We're all hyped for the concert. We still have that like concert energy. So everything is just hot. This place is not air conditioned, I don't think. So we're hot after the show. And coming out of the show. We go to the merch table. There's so many people in the lobby for merch. Like, and this is, where the, the merch table was. Relative to, the stairs and the entrance. So that's where the merch table was. And all the bathrooms and all that. I don't know what's on this side. I don't know what's here. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go to that portion of the venue. But this is where all the relevant stuff is. And then there are so many people on this side. You can kind of see in the photo, like there's one guy here, and there's like a silhouette of a person behind. All of that is packed with people. Some are lining up for the bathroom, some are lining up for merch. And the bathroom line and the merch line are kind of merging together. So it's just like this hodgepodge of people either wanting to pee or wanting to get merch. And nobody knows where they're going. I think there are people exiting from like a balcony that's like above, that we don't have access to, and there's a VIP area that people are coming out of. Oh my god, there were so many people. And we're trying to find like the line for merch. And there's like this one greeter that's like, if you're in line for merch, this is the line. And he's saying that like on repeat. And I don't know if that guy had a crab up his ass or not, but it did get pretty annoying. And I don't know if this venue has had any experience with like Sonic fans or cosplayers or anything that's like not classical music and like other normal concert goers, because they did not know how to handle us very well. Because again, there are people in cosplays, there are people with some props. I have my cane, so it's a mobility device of all things. But a lot of yelling, a lot of not knowing how to organize people in such a relatively small venue space. Because, yeah, there was not a lot of walking room. There were like, so many people for that show. And so many people. And just, like, such a lack of organization in terms of people management and, like, logistics and where people go for what thing. Again, why put the merchandise right in front of the bathroom, where people are obviously going to line up to go to the bathroom and people are obviously going to line up to get merch? Either put the merch in a separate room that people have the option to go to in order to get merch, to leave the bathroom line free, especially for people with mobility issues and other, other kinds of people and families. And, just have those two be separate so you don't have as many people crowding one space, because that hallway was so crowded. Just, person after person after person after person. And just repeat that. So many people. As we're trying to find the merch line, I just look up to Mr. Blue and I'm like, I think I'm going to have heat stroke because it's so hot. I need water. And I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I might have heat stroke or a heart attack if I stay in this line any longer. So he's like, yeah, you know what? I don't really know if merch is worth it. We kind of get a look at the merch table. And again, it's a couple shirts, Sonic Symphony shirts. I think this is the poster. And I don't know if it was like a metal sheet or a cardboard sheet. A tote bag. The light stick that we both kind of wanted, but we couldn't get. Because I think the light sticks were the first to go. And there was a hat that was $40. I'm not paying $40 for a baseball cap. 1, I'm not a baseball person. 2, it's a hat. Like, I know there are some people that collect hats. I know there are some people that collect hats. My little cousin is one such person that collects hats. I will never understand paying $40 for a hat. It's crazy. So, like, there's even a store called Lids that sells just hats, and they custom embroider it for you at the store. Like, I can understand maybe paying a lot for, like, very detailed custom embroidering stuff, but, like, $40 for just the hat and a logo. No. No. That's too much. Even $40 for a shirt is a lot, but if it's a good quality shirt, I can pay $40. I'm gonna regret it instantly, but, yeah. So it was a lot. Even the tote bag was $30. It's like, do I really need a Sonic tote bag that bad? But yeah, memories. People will pay a lot for memories. Yeah, so, after figuring out, the merch is kind of expensive, the line is long, we're both dying of heat stroke, we're both thirsty. Why don't we just leave the venue and just kind of hang out outside? And that's when, the second part of the night happened, and that's when, a lot more of the fun began. So, we leave the show. I don't have any pictures of after we left the show. I have one that I'm going to show, but I don't have any other ones. So, this is after we leave the show. And then there were just all these people. Just all these fans. Some of them in cosplay, some not. Some, like, bounding. Some in just, like, their regular clothes. I think all the parents and kids left first, so it was just, like, young adults and older adults. Just kind of, like, hanging out, still high from, like, being at a live show and all the adrenaline that gives you. And it was it was just so awesome. That was my first ever concert. Like, ever. It was wonderful. But again, just like the energy that people had. I'm so glad we got a good audience. But yeah, there are all these like people just out and about enjoying stuff. There's also an ice cream truck, like not too far from the venue. So there's like an ice cream truck over here, and people are lining up to go get ice cream, because again, that I don't think that place was air conditioned, so it was very hot. So people are lining up to go get ice cream as well, and they're just enjoying like the after concert energy. And you know how the ice cream trucks have like the stickers on them, right? We didn't see a Sonic sticker. I mean, Mr. Blue were like, that's a missed opportunity if they're not selling Sonic ice cream at the Sonic show. But we're feeling a little bit frisky, and like, you know what? Let's get ourselves some ice cream. And like the money that I would have given Mr. Blue to get us some more Liquid Deaths, like I was like, here's the money that we would have used to get Liquid Death, like in case it costs too much to get the ice cream, because it's right outside of a show. People are coming out of the show. Of course, they're gonna like surcharge for ice cream if like it's an ice cream truck. That's just the way of food trucks, baby. So I give him the money. It's like, here, in case like it costs a lot more than you expect, because it's Manhattan and everything costs an arm and a leg here. And then he goes up to, wait in line to get us ice cream, hoping that we can get some Sonic ice cream, because that would just be like the cherry on top of like an already amazing night, right? And then I go find a bench, and I just park myself on a bench. There were a couple people smoking by the bench that I sat on originally, and I was like, okay, well, you know what, I'm gonna sit on another bench over there, because people are smoking in my general direction, and I don't like smokers very much. So, which is funny, because there are, like, two benches, like, parallel to each other, or almost parallel, but, like, a kind of askew. There's one bench that's just full of people who are obviously at the Sonic show. And then there's, like, the bench parallel to it is just, like, is being sat on by, like, friendly-looking old people. So I was sitting on, like, the Sonic side of, the benches in this park, and I'm overhearing this guy's like, oh, I would totally, like, pre-order Sonic X Shadow Generations, and blah, 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 and he has a cigarette in his hand. It's like, as soon as I notice a cigarette, it's like, I'm gonna sit next to the old people. So I go and sit next to the old people. And then, unfortunately, Mr. Blue calls my cell phone, and I'm like, hello, Mr. Blue, what is it? And he's like, oh, they ran out of Sonic ice cream. The two people in front of me got, like, the last two, so what do you want? And I was like, God damn it. So we couldn't get Sonic ice cream at the Sonic show because we just weren't in the right placement in line. So that was very unfortunate. So instead we just had, like, regular ice cream. He had ice cream with, like, blue sprinkles on it. I just had regular vanilla ice cream in a cup. And that is my go-to truck ice cream if I don't get, like a popsicle. But it would have been cool to have Sonic ice cream at the Sonic show. I really like Sonic ice cream. And yeah, I like Sonic Pops. They're wonderful, but they are just like hard to find. Wait, I actually don't know how much ice cream came out to. Like, Mr. Blue, do you remember how much ice cream came out to? If you are still in the chat, because I don't. Well, you were. I just gave you the money in case it cost too much, and then you gave me my change back. So, like, how much did ice cream come out to? Because, like, I don't know that. I only know how much the water and the Sprite cost. Let's give him a minute. I don't know if he's still in chat or not. Yeah. So while we wait for Mr. Blue to come back with I do not remember. Oh! Okay. Well, I mean, that's fair. That was a pretty crazy night. So, we parked ourselves on a bench. It was like 13-ish. Yeah, that sounds about right for Manhattan ice cream truck. So, at least it's not 35, but yeah, a little bit expensive. Because, again, it's an ice cream truck is basically a food truck. So, of course, they're gonna, like, do surcharges because of the show. It parked outside of a venue where there was a show going on. So of course, it's gonna be more expensive than usual. Even though, like, ice cream has gone up significantly over the years. Like, I remember when, you used to, like, at most, like, $2, maybe $3 if you got something fancy, like a banana split. And then, the prices just kept going up and up and up. So, like, all I do now is I just get, like, character ice cream, because that's, like, one of the cheapest things you can get now, ironically. Even though a Sonic Pop is almost, like, $4 now, and it's probably going up more. So what I'm sorry I'm going on this ice cream truck rant. I love ice cream trucks. I love ice cream. I grew up with ice cream trucks. I was one of those kids, and I grew up in one of those families where if the ice cream truck was on our block, that's when the whole family just ran down the stairs to catch the truck. That's how much of an attachment I have to ice cream trucks. That's how nostalgic they are for me. Just very many summers of just me and my grandma in the living room hear the ice cream truck. We yell to our uncle who's in the kitchen, like, we hear the ice cream truck, go downstairs! And then he just runs down the stairs to get the truck to, like, hold so we can order stuff. Like, all this in the name of getting my grandma banana split and getting me, like a vanilla cone or, like, a vanilla cup ice cream with rainbow sprinkles. Or, like, the occasional character pop or other ice cream truck ice cream. I'm sorry, now I just really want ice cream. But yeah, ice cream truck ice cream has just gone up so much that what I want to do is I want to try to find like an ice cream distributor. Just go to them personally and be like, "Hi, I'm tired of paying like $3 to $5 for like a single Sonic Pop. Can I just get a box from you so I can buy them in bulk and enjoy them in peace?" So I want to look up if there are any ice cream distributors that I could just walk up to without having to be like an ice cream truck myself to just buy ice cream straight from the source and then eat it. I will go to an ice cream distributor and I will order a box of Sonics, take a Sonic from the box, and eat it. That will be my light Yakami moment. Go with a gun, you'll leave with all the Sonic ice creams. I've made that joke with Mr. Blue before. It's like, you know what you and me gotta do? We gotta do a heist. We gotta do a Lupin style heist, but with ice cream. And you could be like, "Hi, Lupin the Third here, wanting to get all this Sonic ice cream from your distributor." I'm surprised you can't Amazon that. Yeah, the thing about Sonic ice cream in particular is that it's made by Blue Bunny, right? And Blue Bunny makes all this other kinds of ice cream. But for some reason, the Sonic Pops are only available on ice cream trucks. Like, you cannot find it in a store. You can only get them on trucks, so they are, like, truck exclusive, which is such a missed opportunity. Because, like, if the Sonic Pops were available in the stores, I'd buy so many. I would buy so many Sonic Pops, because I unironically really like Sonic Pops. Like, I thought the ice cream became a meme because of, like, the eye placement, right? And, like, I've gotten some really weird Sonic Pops myself. While Clip Studio Paid is still open, hold on, let me find the silliest Sonic Pop I've ever gotten. And this happened to me twice. If I could find the photo, actually. Crap, where's the photo? Hold on, I think I have it on Tumblr. Archive. Well, at least one of the big benefits that Tumblr has over Twitter is that, like, at least there's an archive, so you could, like, look for your stuff and, like, not have to suffer from, oh, like, this photo was from, like, 20 years ago, but my Twitter feed doesn't go 20 years back into the past. Oh, no. Like, it might as well just be lost forever. Okay, I can't find it on the archive. Crap. Maybe I'll post about it in the community later. I don't want to waste y'all's time. You already have like 20. That's different. That's different. You know that's different. The ones in the fridge are different from the ones that I could have fresh off of a truck or from a distributor. You should know they're different. Oh yeah, I found a website that'll ship them to you. Where? But yeah, so I gotta find a distributor, especially if it's like semi-local. Like if I could just like take a train to it, but not like an egregious train ride, and then just like bring them back at a cooler, that'd be very convenient. Or like if I could just like Uber myself back, just like with a trunk full of Sonics, that'd be very convenient. Yeah, the Sonic ice creams became a meme because of the eye placement mostly, but they are unironically good actually. Like I unironically like Sonic Pops, and yeah, they are a nice blue ice cream, and I like them. I know a guy. You know Lupin the Third? Oh my god, he can help us get all the ice cream. Yeah. So so we're enjoying our ice cream. Because we're sad that we can't get water. We are parched, so like the ice cream it'll turn into a liquid in our stomachs, I guess. And then we're like, we've had a lot of fun at the show. We should, go our separate ways and just go to our respective homes, and just like call it a night, and all that. But then, as we're ready to across the street. Like, there's this crowd that's still kind of outside of the theater. Just kind of hanging out. And then... yeah, the main road is over here. Let me try to illustrate to you what's going on. So yeah, like there's the outside of the theater. There's all these people hanging out under scaffolding. And, you know, it's New York, so you have like the buses, you know, just coming in and out of frame every so often. And then out of nowhere. So out of nowhere, this is the best I can remember. This is the only way I could describe it. There was like this one black guy in like a shadow outfit. And you know, because there's this guy like in the middle of the street, kind of in between like where the streets and the buses are going. It's amazing that nobody got hit by a bus or run over. And then, you know, this black guy in the shadow outfit goes like, "Oh my god! Is that Mike Pollock? Is that Mike Pollock for real? Is that the real life Eggman? Like outside of the theater?" So then, me and Mr. Blue, who were about to go home, just suddenly stop in our tracks and like, "Oh my god, we gotta see what's going on," because now there's like this crowd of people, and it's like the Mike Pollock might actually be here. And lo and behold, it's actually Mike Pollock! And you might be saying like, well, Sam, is it actually Mike Pollock? Proof for Cap. No, that's the merch. Yes, it was! Mike Pollock was at the show! Or, and to put it in his words, he was just stopping by. I guess he was like in the area. So yeah, we saw Mike Pollock at the show! So yeah. So like, we were about to go home. We were about to go home, find a train, maybe find a convenience store, and then we hear that one black guy in the shadow comes like, "Oh my god, it's like Mike Pollock," and we just turn, and then it's actually Mike Pollock. It's like, oh, it's just passing by. So immediately, because Mike Pollock, you know, real life Eggman is at the show, everybody just immediately goes up for pictures and autographs, and like, you know, can you say this line as the Eggman, or as this character or that character? And then another notable thing that I forgot to mention earlier, because while we were going to the show, like on our way to the theater, and also while at the show, we see all these like famous people in the Sonic community, including that one Eggman cosplayer that does classic Eggman, who is in the picture over here. And just a whole bunch of other, like, you know, Sonic famous people. And all that. So yeah, this was like the one photo that I had to show, because while there were other people in the photo originally, I just cropped them out, you know, for privacy reasons. I don't know who they are. But you know, like, you know, there's Mike Pollock, who is obviously a public figure. There's like that one Eggman cosplayer, public figure, although I don't know the guy's name. I know his cosplay, I just don't know what the guy's name is. But, you know, he's a public figure, so, you know, I don't have to do any face censoring there. And then I think the guy in the red jacket on the far left of that photo, I think he was doing work for Sonic Revolution, you know, that one convention that takes place in Texas. So, you know, if he's like a tournament organizer, if he's like a convention organizer, he's probably a public figure, so I didn't have to do any face censoring. So they all got a photo together, that, you know, Mr. Blue over here managed to take the photo of. Jack Botnick, I actually met him last year before I knew who he was. Oh, that's who he is. Cool. So yeah. So there were like so many like cosplayers and like, you know, Sonic famous people there. And all that, like, and it kind of made me wonder, it's like, I know people who are like infamous or famous in the Sonic community. Like, imagine if like Henry was here, but like, no, when I told Henry I was going to the Symphony, he was like, "Why are you going to the Symphony?" And I'm like, "Because my friend already got the tickets. They've been reserved for like 6 months." And he was like, "Okay, well, at least you're not paying for it." It was like, as if I would have the money to go to a symphony on my own. Of course I'm going with a friend. But yeah, so like, total surprise that Mike Pollock was at the show. You know, people are going up to him, like, sign for things, and I actually got a picture with him. Like, me and Mr. Blue over here, we got a picture with him. So I have, a photo of my actual face, and his actual face, and with Mike Pollock, and it was wonderful. Although, you know what's funny, is that as we were taking the photo, I'm trying to position my Sonic plush that I take with me everywhere to be in the photo as well. And And then Mr. Blue, who again, if you look at the credits in the description for the stream, he took most of the photos that I'm showing. He didn't get the boy. He didn't get the plush in the photo. So yeah, missed opportunity there. But what we did do was that after we took the initial photo with Mike Pollock, you know, as everyone was like crowding him for like just like, oh, can you autograph this? Can you know say this in the Eggman voice? Can you help us promote this thing? And all that. How how dare we not get the plush in the photo? A little bit of a missed opportunity, but you know, it's fine ultimately because basically Mr. Blue is the closest I will ever get to interacting with a Sonic in real life. I've made the suggestion that if I were to stream a Sonic game and if he were to come on with me on stream, I asked him like, can you stay in character as Sonic for an entire stream? And he said yes, I might be able to do that. So so even if I didn't get like the Sonic in the photo, I basically have Sonic in a human costume in the photo along with me. But yeah, so everyone's like hounding Mike for like autographs and stuff. As you can see in the background, like buses are just going by on this street. It's a miracle no one got run over. And yeah, so I have this brilliant idea because Mr. Blue does Sonic impressions. And it's like I've never met a voice actor in person before, and I don't have anything to autograph. I don't have anything for Mike to autograph. Unfortunately, I don't have a pad of paper. I don't have a pen. He has like a gold Sharpie with him, and he's signing people's stuff with a gold Sharpie. But I don't have anything to like sign, and I'm not gonna have him sign the plush because that's my default plush that I use for all my plush photography and everything. So like I don't want that plush to be written on or anything unless I like retired him and got like another plush in his place. So I'm like, you know, I have this brilliant idea. I'm going to ask Mike Pollock to like, you know, give us his opinion on the symphony in the Eggman voice. Have him sign your cane. You know, that would have been a missed opportunity, but I think because my cane is made of metal, right? So like, and it's a Sharpie. Like Sharpie stays on for a good amount of time, but like, it's a cane, so it's gonna be beaten by the elements like the rain, the snow, you know, sweat. Like water from sprinklers and other stuff, so it's like that autograph might have like faded away over time unless I like photographed like the signed cane, but then it's like I'm no longer gonna have the autograph on the cane itself, and I'm not gonna have him autograph like the foam bit like where you hold the cane. So yeah, because then you know if you have them like autograph the foam, the ink is gonna seep into the foam or otherwise get ruined by like sweat and dirt and debris and all that, so that would have been terrible. Oh, Sam, did you see the ice cream info dump? I will look into it. I will screenshot that portion of the chat just so I remember it and keep that in mind. And yeah. But yeah, so it's like I don't have any autographs, so I'll just ask him to like do a voice line of like what Eggman thinks of the symphony, like in the Eggman voice. So I actually took a video of him doing the line, and I had to do this twice because the first time I was so excited, I guess I just like accidentally like missed hitting the record button on my phone, and so he did the first take, but it wasn't recorded, and I was just like, God damn it! So after I realized my blunder, I was like, oh no, it's not. Oh my god, I didn't realize it was not recording. I'm so sorry. Could you do that again? He was very kind. He was very generous, and I guess he could see that I was kind of nervous, and he was like, oh, it's okay, I'll do it again. And I'm like, oh my god, at least he's nice. Because, like, sometimes you meet voice actors in real life, and they are not nice. And sometimes you meet voice actors in real life, and they would be your best friend if they could. But then he was very nice about it. So after I made sure I pressed record, I got the line the second time. So what I did for my footage was that I just had my plush in the corner, and I just had my plush in the corner of the shot, just kind of, like, staring occasionally at Mike and then staring back at the camera. Because I'm asking him to do, like, a line of, like, what Eggman thinks of the symphony. And all that. So I got it on the second take. And I haven't listened to it yet. Because I'm still in shock that I managed to talk to a voice actor in person. But according to Mr. Blue, the audio quality sounded good. Granted, if I were to post it to YouTube, I'm not sure if it would get copyright struck. Because, oh my god, that night was so noisy. So, like, while people are coming out of the show, there's one group very close to Mike doing, like, Sonic karaoke for some reason amongst themselves. There's, like, mariachi music like, further down the block from where the theater is. So you're probably gonna hear a lot of music in that recording if I were to ever post it. So, yeah, I do want to post it though. I'll have to edit it a little bit, but yeah, that shot might be a little bit extra noisy. Unless Mr. Blue can tell me otherwise, because he reviewed the footage for me. Because I kept going to him, like, for everything I've recorded, like, did the audio quality sound good? Did the audio quality sound good? And all that. Including all the stuff he said in the Sonic Voice before the show, too, because that was wonderful. Yeah. Because, I will say, Mr. Blue said I've said some things in his Sonic Voice that I do want to animate, or make an animatic of. Because, again, he is basically just Sonic in a human suit. But he's a good guy. He is a wonderful friend. Yeah. Yeah. They got that Sonic bug. Yeah, oh my god. Like, again, it was just such wonderful energy from, like, the audience we had. Because there was an earlier show that day. We managed to get the 8 o'clock show, because I think that was all that they had left. But there was a 3 o'clock show as well. So we wanted to get the 3 o'clock show. That way, you know, we would be, you know, at our homes early. Not have to stay out too late. But yeah, we got the 8 o'clock show, but if we didn't get the 8 o'clock show, and if we weren't, like, having inner turmoil with ourselves over whether or not to wait at the merch table, or risk a heat stroke, if we didn't stop to get ice cream, and all that, we wouldn't have met Mike Pollock, and it was so cool. And, Mr. Blue had met Mike Pollock once in person before, and this was my first time meeting a voice actor, like, ever. And it was so cool, and it's like, oh my god. So it's like my first concert. It was a Sonic thing, of all things. You know, the first time I was, like, really engaging with the Sonic fandom as a whole. And yeah, it was so cool. They didn't announce 3 p.m. show until weeks after the 8 p.m. sold out. Oh, so it was, like, added after. I thought the story was, like, they had 3 and 8 p.m. shows, but then all we could get was the 8 p.m. one. Like, that's what I thought it was. I thought there were, like, multiple shows already booked for the same day, but we can only get the later show. But yeah. Because the other annoying thing is that, fun fact, tip from a native New Yorker. If you ever, like, live or do tourist stuff in New York City, don't do anything involving trains on the weekend. Now, why do I say that? Despite the fact that the Sonic Symphony in New York City was on a weekend, it was on a Saturday. And, you know, we did that and we survived. The reason why I say don't do anything on the trains on the weekend is because the trains are always under construction on the weekend. And the trains are always rerouted differently on the weekend. So it's very much a pain to go anywhere on the weekend, unless it's, like, super duper local. Like, if I have to take a train on a weekend, what I do is that I just stick to super duper pooper local stuff. Like, to stuff that I know there are alternate routes of transportation in case the train decides to not work all of a sudden. So, like, if I'm going somewhere that's, like, 2 train stops away, cool, because then I'll be able to walk back just fine, or take a bus that's in the same location, or, you know, otherwise, you know, it'll still run locally. But if you're going anywhere extravagant, if you're doing long-distance train travel on a weekend in New York City, good luck. Because even on the way there, you know, I'm very nervous about trains and just traveling on public transport in general. And Mr. Blue, as our resident train guy, and the reason I know so much about Thomas, even though I never wanted to know about Thomas in my life, and he's the train guy. He knows all the directions. He knows how to get there. In the middle of the day, in the middle of our route where we know where we're going, the train schedule changes. So we're, like, almost at the venue, and we need to go, like a little bit longer on a train toward the venue. We suddenly have to reroute, go back to one train line, and go back to one station to transfer to a different train to go all the way to the venue. So that's how crazy the trains get on the weekend. They just get rerouted differently. Like, trains that would normally run express would go locally, or trains that would normally go on one track are suddenly on the other track. And it's not fun traveling on the trains on the weekend. Again, unless it is, like, something very local to you where taking the train is just slightly more convenient. Oh, so he's the guy. I see why he's here. Well, he's the lovely person that I went to the show with because he got the tickets for us, and he is also the reason I know so much about trains and Thomas, unfortunately. So yeah, he has given me much train trauma. But at least I discovered the bitch of a train that is Daisy, and I like her because she's a bitch. Yeah. So yeah, we try to do a lot of. What do you mean, unfortunately? I never wanted to know about Thomas in my life. I would have been fine, like never having known anything about Thomas in my life. But you are the train guy. You know stuff about trains, and your original blue boy is Thomas. Therefore, by knowing you, I now know stuff about Thomas that I never wanted to know. I remember the train trauma from Henry's stream. Yeah, I talked about it a little bit there. I improved your train experience. Ooh woo. Well, yeah, to be fair, you know, it's not all train trauma. It's train trauma in the sense of, oh my god, I know so much stuff about Thomas now that I never wanted to know, that I never cared for, blah, 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 blah. But at least, because I have, like, anxiety on, like, public transportation, at least I have an emotional support animal for it in the form of Sonic in a human suit. So, that also likes trains. So yeah, I have a buddy. I have a buddy for the buddy system now. So yeah, Mr. Blue makes going on trains a lot less traumatic. If it comes up in trivia, you're set. Honestly, not really. If you're gonna do train trivia for anything, ask Mr. Blue. He has a lot of train trivia. So much trains. Just an ungodly amount of trains. Um. I'm set. Yes, you are. You are so set for train trivia. But yeah. So yeah, the concert was freaking awesome. But it's also crazy that like it differed so much from the like the the YouTube version of the symphony. Because basically they kept the YouTube version as like a baseline for what to do. But yeah, they mostly just did the classic era in symphony form in the live show. At least the show that we got, because again, it seems like every live show is different. So we only got the classic era and then SA1 in, you know, orchestral form. And then the rest was rock and heavy metal and then acoustic at the end. So yeah, but my live show experience, it was awesome. I would love to do it again if there was a show nearby. Hopefully not in that venue again, because again, the staff had a crap up their ass. Except for the ushers. The ushers were nice. That one greeter dude was fine. I don't know how concession was, because I didn't interact with concessions. But yeah. It was such a wonderful experience. I would love to do it again. I will smuggle all the water. Oh yeah! That was another thing. So, I can't believe I forgot about this. So before we exit, after, like, fighting with ourselves over whether or not to, like, get merch or not and risk getting heat stroke, we noticed, like, outside the bathroom there was, like, a water fountain. And the water fountain looked sketchy as hell. The pipes were probably, like, 1 billion years old. But you know what? I was thirsty. I was still pissed off by my water getting tossed out, so I just took out my canteen that was so rudely emptied and I filled it up with, like this water fountain water that kind of smelled like metal, and who knows, I probably drank rust for all I know, but I didn't care at the time. I was thirsty. But then across from that water fountain, was like another little divot in the wall that had like an outlet attached. So that was probably used for like lighting fixtures or like, you know, putting like display art or something. And there were people like posing their plushes in that little divot and, you know, taking pictures. And then there's this one guy who's like, I guess doing security, that's like monitoring people. And then, you know, there's like a little bit of a line there. There are multiple people taking pictures of their plushes in this little divot in the wall, right? And then I go up to do the same thing, and the security guy's like, oh, are you doing the same thing? Kind of condescendingly, like as if I'm 5 and trying to steal a cookie from the cookie jar. He's like, are you going to do the same thing? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, only one photo. And it's like, okay. And then, you know, I pose my plush in the little divot, and it looks like this. And it's today's thumbnail. So this is, and yeah. So this was a photo I orchestrated. But as I'm searching through my purse to get my phone to take the photo, right? And then I'm digging in my purse trying to look for my phone because my purse was stupid big. I'm never using that purse again because it's too damn big. As I'm looking for my phone, the security guy, who again was condescending, was like, no, your friend will take that for you. And then, he points to Mr. Blue, who's like right behind me, and Mr. Blue looks all awkward. It's like, what? I'm gonna take the photo? And it's like, and then I look to Mr. Blue and it's like, I guess, can you take the photo for me? Because, like, obviously I didn't say this out loud, but obviously this guy is too much of a condescending asshole to let me find my phone in peace. So Mr. Blue takes the photo for me, and even though I orchestrated the photo, and that's my plush all posed right there, Mr. Blue actually took the photo for me. Because again, the security guy had a crab up his ass, would not let me find my phone on my own, and let me take my own damn photo of my own plush. So Mr. Blue took the photo, and all that, so, and then we were kind of, like, rushed out of there, because, oh my god, security had a crab up their ass. Like, I will not get over how rude they were. Like, the venue, lovely looking place. But oh my, if I were ever in the position where I were trying to run an event, I would just bring my own staff. Cause oh my god, they were so rude. But I'm guessing maybe they just are not used to dealing with cosplayers and like Sonic fans or something. Maybe that had to be part of the problem. Cause oh my god, they were so rude. Except for the ushers. The ushers were decent people, and that one greeter guy was decent. But yeah, just like rushing people, being condescending at security on the way in, like dumping people's like drinks and all that is crazy, really. But yeah, so this was today's thumbnail. Again, the photo was taken by Mr. Blue, but I had the idea for the photo and that little divot in the wall. And yeah, it came out a little bit blurry, but again, we were being rushed, and security was like right there, like breathing down, and it's like, only one photo, or your friend will take the photo, hurry. And it's like, relax. It's like, I was messaging my friends. Sam was going medieval on their asses. I wish I could. Oh, hi, cat. Even the cat's coming up to me like, Mom, you're getting a little bit heated. Are you okay? But yeah, it's like, I messaged my friends on the night of the show, like, as we, like, just giving them, like, real life updates, like, I'm alive, here, like, we're okay, stuff like that, and I was just like, I didn't know this place employed Karens of all races and genders, and all that. It's like, I like how nice the side of the building looks. It's a very nice building. It's very nice on the inside. This theater's probably super duper old. But yeah, oh my god, like, it's crazy. Personnel there, not very nice. The building itself was nice, but what they really needed to figure out their logistics with trying to like move people around. They needed more compassionate staff, or they needed staff that knew how to deal with like cosplayers and people in like the gaming community. Because like it's Sonic. People are gonna bring their plushes. People are gonna cosplay. People are gonna do everything that like Sonic fans do. But no, we were all rushed. We were crowded in these hallways. It was terrible. And like, yeah, like the band was nice. The orchestra was nice. Ushers were nice. Greeters were nice. Everyone else, crazy. Looks like an old-fashioned theater. Yeah, yeah. I don't know how. I've never been to this theater before, so it's probably like, I'm guessing 100 years old. Like, Mr. Blue, did you happen to know more about this theater, since you tend to like old-fashioned stuff and look into architecture history more than I do? But yeah, like, it was great. And like, I'm glad I had a friend that helped me navigate the place, because oh my god, again, because of the people moving issues, I probably would have died of heat stroke or fainted or gotten really hurt if I was on my own. But yeah. And that's another thing too, when it came to like people moving and stuff. And like the guy, like the security guy that was like rushing me to take this picture of my plush and the little divot in the wall, I had my cane. And like, I'm struggling to like find my phone. So it's like, you'd think, if I'm obviously struggling with like to walk, if I have like a physical disability that is like visible, because I have my, a cane and all that, and I'm like struggling to like look for stuff in my purse, because, you know, your theater has such, like, a strict policy that they stick you to the letter. Like, you'd think they'd give me a little bit of a break. Was there a line? I think I was, like, the last person in line to take the little photo of like, their plushes or their merchandise in the divot. There weren't that many people. It was just kind of like a bunch of people that just suddenly had the idea of, like, oh, I'm gonna do that. And, you know, we kind of all gathered around to do the same thing. But yeah, that was, like, another thing that wasn't really well organized. Oh, well, screw that guy. Exactly! And it was, like, talking to me so condescendingly, too. It's like, motherfucker, I already have a cane. My feet and legs hurt constantly. It pains me to walk, even like a normal walk. You are going to let me take a picture of my plush in peace. You gotta leave people alone. We're not doing it. We're not destroying the theater. We're not chewing on the molding on the wall. We're not breaking things with our pico hammers. Relax. Yeah, so yeah. Like, I don't know. I consider myself a normally very calm, very patient, very kind person. But, like, when people who, like, there are some people who you don't give that badge of authority. Because then when they have that badge of authority, they turn into Karens, regardless of age, regardless of race, regardless of background, regardless of how rich or poor they are. They just turn into Karens. So it's like, when I'm met with a Karen that has, you know, a role of authority or a job that gives them authority, it just pisses me off so much. It just kind of makes me, like, automatically play NWA's Fuck the Police in the back of my brain. Like, it just kind of sparks that rebel in me, because it's like, dude, you let the power go to your head, relax. And all that. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Mr. Blue came with information about the theater. It opened in 1930 during the Great Depression, somehow. Yeah, that actually is crazy to think about, like, to have something open during the 1930s when, like, the Great Depression is hitting and, like, inflation is through the roof and everything is closing down, and, like, this theater managed to survive and all that. That was crazy. But yeah, it's a very pretty venue. I'm glad I got to see the show. If there's another show in the Northeast, granted, it can't be too far from my area, because I not only have one cat to worry about, I now have two cats. So, like, if I were to stay anywhere in a different state overnight, I'd have to get a cat sitter for that. Or, like, yeah, it couldn't be too late either. But, like, if there was another show, like, in the Northeast that's not too far away, I might try going. How are they? Oh, like, the cats are doing okay. Dusty has officially lived with me for 2 months. So that's exciting. And, yeah. So, some cat stuff did come up, though, unfortunately. Because for a while, Dusty was, like, doing that thing where, you know, the cats stick their tongue out, and it's very cute. It's very adorable. And I thought she was doing it to play. So I took a photo of her sticking her tongue out, thinking she was playing. And I was like, okay, if she's being cute, she's getting more comfortable living with me. Yeah, it's like, it's the blep. They're doing a little blep. So I thought she was blepping to be cute. And then I noticed, like, she's kind of blepping for, like, hours on end. And then she just kept doing it for hours on end. And I'm like, I think something's wrong with this cat. I need to take her to the vet. So I find a vet. I would have gone to the place where I got her fixed. But the place where I got her fixed does not do dental. So I'm starting to suspect, oh, you know, she's sticking her tongue out for hours on end. It must be her teeth that are hurting her. Because Dusty is basically... And there goes a comedically timed meow. You scared the shit out of me. Are you okay? Hi. I know, I'm talking about your sister. I'm giving our lovely audience the health update of your sister that you still fight with, but I think you secretly like her. Okay, so after jump scare from TJ. So, yeah, Dusty kept sticking her tongue out, so I was guessing, okay, something's wrong with this cat's teeth, because Dusty is otherwise in perfect health, except for the fact that she needed to be fixed, and the fact that her teeth, her back teeth in particular, are not doing so good. So, yeah. So I was like, oh crap, something's wrong with this cat's teeth. And so I had to take her to a vet that did dental care, as well as, like, the other standard vet stuff. So I take her to the cat dentist. And I'm like, hey, I suspect something might be wrong with my cat's teeth. Can you help me? And, you know, they look at her teeth. And her back teeth on the left side, they're in pretty terrible shape, but they look like they can be, you know, they look like they can be salvaged. They look like they could stay in her skull. Her back teeth on the right side, however, they look like rocks. They are not in very good shape. They are going to need to come out at some point. So, the dentist for this cat is telling me the same thing, like what I already know, like, yeah, her teeth are going to need to come out. And it looks like she might have a tooth infection somehow. And I'm like, well, shit, there was something wrong with this cat. So, me at least knowing, like, okay, well, at least I took her to the vet and I know something's wrong and we can address it here. They tell me, like, oh, well, if she might need to get her teeth extracted, so we can give you an estimate for the extraction. I really hate the word estimate now. Because every, like, veterinarian office that I called up to ask about cat dentistry, if they didn't give me, like, a solid figure for getting the cat's teeth extracted, they just said, oh, we'll send you an estimate. And an estimate, in my brain, translates to, it's gonna cost you $1 million plus your soul. So yeah. But, while she was at the dentist, they found one of her teeth, in the back was loose. So they pulled it out in, like, 2 seconds. So at least she has one of her teeth out. And, after they pulled that tooth, that they were like, oh, yeah, we think this tooth was infected, and it was probably a dead tooth, and that's why she's not doing so well right now. But we can give her some medication and some painkillers, and then we can send you on her way. On your way. Yes, TJ, what is it? Hi. You're very talkative tonight. Don't bite me. What the hell? That'll be $9,000. Exactly. I hate the word estimate. Yeah. So they gave me an antibiotic for her, which I have to give to her by syringe. They gave me painkillers that I have to keep in the fridge that I also have to give to her by syringe. And yeah, once she started taking the antibiotics, she stopped sticking her tongue out for hours on end. So that was good. Yeah. So at least I guess it was just the infection and, like, the tooth that was loose that I didn't realize was loose, that was causing her to stick her tongue out, because I guess she did it for comfort reasons. But yeah, so I now have to worry about getting this cat dental care a lot sooner than expected, because I got her checked out a couple of other times before getting her fixed and all that, and then they looked at her teeth and they were like, oh yeah, these teeth need to come out at some point, but they look like they could survive for a little while longer. And I'm like, cool. Because at the time I didn't know I was keeping her. And then, like, lo and behold, I got too attached to this silly little cat and I fell in love with her. It's like, well, you're part of the family now. No one else wants you. No one else can take care of you, but I can. Hello, TJ. Are you trying to steal the show from me talking about your sister? Hi. Yeah, so yeah, I've been giving her the antibiotics, for the past, like, 2 or so weeks now, and she's doing a lot better. However, I do still have to find a dentist for her that can extract her teeth. There was one dentist that I found that gave me a flat figure, just like a flat fee, for the dental surgery. However, I'm basically going to need to... What the hell were you doing? You're very comedically timed tonight. I think you and Percy would have gotten along very swimmingly. But yeah, so I called one clinic that gave me a flat figure, and it was the cheapest one I could find. So, for dental work, for the least amount of money that I could find, I basically need to save up like $1,000 to get Dusty's teeth fixed. I know, it stresses me out too, Kat. So yeah, I need to save up money for this cat's teeth, because they do need to come out, and theoretically, if I could just keep giving her antibiotics and painkillers whenever she's in pain, that'll be fine, but that still costs money on its own. Like, I think the appointment... What are you doing? Get down! Get down from there. Get down from there, you trash panda. I am so sorry, the cats are driving me nuts tonight. But yeah, so, yeah, I'm going to need to save up like $1,000 to get Dusty's teeth fixed, because her back teeth do need to come out. Because even the medication on top of the appointment that I got for her came out to, like, basically $150. And, like, I was able to pay for the appointment just fine. But when I told my mom the situation, she was like, you know what, let me give you, like, an extra $50, just in case anything happens. You never know what's going to happen. So here's $50 for the appointment, just in case. I had to use the $50 my mom gave me for the sake of this cat. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna need to save money for this cat. So I have $100 set aside already, and that'll cover blood work, pre-surgery. But then the other, oh my god, what are you doing? Stop! Get away from the computer equipment, you crazy cat. You know how dangerous that is. Why? Why are you like this? Why are you like this tonight? Why? You have anything to say for yourself? You almost knocked the monitor down. Crazy? I think she's jealous. Maybe. Is she trying to tell you to go to bed? Maybe. She wants your loving. Both cats are attention whores in their own way, but that's just the way of cats. Yes, TJ, I'm scritching your chin. I'm giving you head pats. You have my love. You have it already. You've had my love for like the past 2 years that you've been living with me. Like you've been living with me for a full 2 years now. Can you believe that? We've been roommates for 2 years, and now you have a sister, which you did not expect, and you didn't like her in the beginning, but now I think you're secretly starting to like her. But yeah, so it's even the chat's like, hey, we aren't gonna steal your mom. They're not gonna steal me. It's fine. It's fine. But I don't know why she wants to jump on the desk and near the computer equipment tonight. I think she's just a little bit hyper. Or again, because I've every time I mention security, I go feral. Anytime I mention like the dumping of the water, I go feral. So I think she could just sense like the feralness in the room and it's like, oh my god, I really need to pay attention to my mother. It's my job as emotional support animal to make sure she doesn't go feral. It's only my job to go feral because I am a cat. Meow. And all that. So, I mean, hey, you're doing your job as an emotional support animal, but don't jump on things you're not supposed to. Okay, you know how dangerous that is? Because if you break the monitor, I don't have the money for another one. Like, I'd probably have to finance another one if I needed one in a hurry. Like, are you crazy? You're such a beautiful cat, too. You don't need to be a trash pan that jumps everywhere. You're fine. Oh, yeah, that's another thing, too. Speaking of trash pandas. Speaking of trash pandas, another horrible thing that Dusty has gotten in the habit of is, when TJ first moved in with me, it was my first time dealing with a former street cat, and I had to learn how to close the lid on the trash, because, Percy did not dig through trash. TJ, on the other hand, is the kind of cat that will take chicken bones out of the trash and then strew them all around the house. And I knew that it became a problem because one day I just woke up and I found chicken bones in my bed that TJ had put in my bed. And it's like, okay, well, either the cat's digging out of the trash and just putting the bones everywhere, or I'm turning into a werewolf and I went on a chicken killing rampage last night that I don't remember. So, yeah. But, after, 2 years of TJ living with me, she stopped digging through the trash, and I learned to close the lid. But even on the nights where I forgot to occasionally close the lid, she doesn't really dig through the trash anymore.
Dust, on the other hand, does not learn that lesson.
So, I've had to learn how to, just consistently close the lid on the trash with Dust here now, because she's starting to dig through the trash for some reason. And that could have also been the reason why she accidentally, messed up her teeth and was blubbing for, days on end, because she might have ate something in the trash and then, messed up one of her teeth and, lodged it out of her skull and it was loose, but, I don't know. I don't know what these cats do when I'm asleep and I'm not in the living world anymore and I'm in the dream world. But yeah, so, in terms of cats, I'm going to need to save a lot of money, so the Symphony was basically a big birthday thing for me, where it's like, this is probably one of the few times I could have fun this month, because despite it being my birthday month, I've had a lot of stuff come up that has kept me very busy, so I don't really know how much fun I'm going to be able to have, and I don't really have a lot of fun money to spend on myself. I'm going to need to mostly spend it on necessities, and then just put as much away as possible to take care of the cat that needs surgery. Could I do crowdfunding at some point? Maybe, but right now I at least have enough put away for pre-surgery blood work. And then another thing I have to worry about is that it's basically $1,000 just to get the surgery and the blood work alone. However, I'm not sure if the clinic that I found is going to accept the previous clinic's, records for this cat. So, they might want to do their own appointment for the sake of the cat as well, which is going to be more money. and that's going to be terrible. So I am just hoping and praying that if I could get an appointment for cheap at the clinic that I have just went to, and then that clinic that I could do the surgery at for 1,000 accepts that, that'd be cool. Uh, but yeah, cat dentistry is it's gonna be very expensive, but I don't want this cat to suffer. And I very much love animals. I've never taken care of like an actual factual rescue cat before. Because at least with TJ was taken off the street like pretty early in her life, even though they thought she was a boy at first, and then she gave birth to kittens, and then oh, it's a girl after all. But she was kind of domesticated prior to coming into my household. Dusty, on the other hand, total mystery. Nobody knows where she came from. Could have been a neighborhood cat. Could have been a cat that belonged to somebody at some point, but they just kind of neglected her. We will never know her backstory. And because of that, we're thankful that she's healthy except for her teeth. But because her teeth are a problem, it's going to be a very expensive problem. But this is also like my first cat that is like an actual factual rescue that I just kind of rescued firsthand. And, therefore, I'm bearing all the responsibility for her. So it's been interesting. But yeah, like is it stressful taking care of two cats? A little bit. It kind of drives you nuts sometimes, especially when they fight, or when they like hound you for food, or you're trying to walk and suddenly there are two cats like going in between your ankles and like trying to trip you. But like she's given me more good stress than bad stress. Like it is a very rewarding experience to take a cat off the street, whether it's like an actual factual rescue or just like you save them from being in a shelter their whole lives, especially if it's a kill shelter. And yeah, so she's been a wonderful little cat. She benefits so much from being domesticated. And she's also improved so much from me taking her in. Because the first month she was here, she was a ball of anxiety. She's still a ball of anxiety now, but she's also a lot more social. Except for her little episode with, like, her blepping for days on end because of her teeth and them causing her pain. She's getting more social. She's still weird about being picked up. Like, she doesn't really like when I pick her up. She kind of cries whenever I do it. Also, because I think she got so comfortable, like, living with me just casually that now when I have to give her medication, she runs away from me. She was better at taking medication when I was still a relative stranger, which I find very ironic, because it's like, I thought you were becoming my friend. Why are you running away from me? I'm trying to give you this to make your teeth feel better. So that's fun. That's nice. So she's harder to give medication. But yeah, I'm just glad that's like, at least she's not on the street. At least she's not suffering alone. At least she's not being abused. And yeah, like, I'm just so grateful to have her. She's a unique little cat, but at least like she's like the one cat that I could truly call mine, because like I just happen to find her at the right place in the right time, and then new addition to the family, really. And like that's how it happened. It's like an honest to god rescue cat, because like I don't know if people really do this anymore, but like sometimes you would hear people say like, oh yeah, I have a cat or I have a dog, it's a rescue, but it's like, no, you got it at the boutique pet shop. It's not a rescue. It's a purchase. Or it's like, oh, I got a rescue. I got my rescue dog and my rescue cat. No, you got it from like a shelter. It's not they did the rescuing. They did the rescuing. You just took it off of their hands. But it's like, no, this is an honest to god rescue. I just found her on the street, and then she just came into my home, and thankfully she was fine. But yeah, she's a wonderful cat though. I have to take more pictures of her. She's become less photo friendly. Unfortunately, she's been living with me for like 2 months now, like 2 whole months. We are approaching month 3 of her adjusting to living in my home. She's become less photo friendly, partially because I'm giving her medication for her teeth, and she doesn't like it, so she runs away from me every time she takes it. But also I think she's gotten comfortable enough to be like, well, I don't want to hang out with you. I want to explore. I want to do stuff. I want to do things. I want to do cat things. I'm a cat. Meow. Especially like I'm growing cat grass again this year. So like she's interacting with the cat grass for the first time. So I think she's having to explore that. And yeah, I don't know. It's just such an improvement, really. I'm so proud of her. And like I'm amazed that I was able to do it. Like I didn't think I'd handle the responsibility of having two cats, but it is both easier and harder than I thought it would be. It's harder because obviously now I have two cats to worry about like the medical costs and food costs and litter costs for. But it's easy in the sense that like like it's not that like I can't handle it in the emotional sense. Like I'm learning how to handle it in the emotional sense. Like and it's just it's not that like I didn't have the heart for having two cats. It's that like the financial responsibility scared me away from that, but it's like I have a lot of love to give for animals, so it's like there's more than enough love to give for the cats in my household. So like they are both very well cared for. They're both very well loved by myself. My mom has warmed up to Dusty even though she refuses to admit it. My mom very much is in denial about getting attached to this cat. um And yeah, it's wonderful, really. My cousins have not met Dusty yet. They've seen pictures, they just haven't met her yet, but I'm pretty sure they're gonna love her as well. My aunt in Pennsylvania who helped chip in to get Dusty fixed, she is already attached to Dusty, even though she has not met Dusty yet. But yeah, it's wonderful. Like, just this random little addition to the family has just brought a lot of people together. And I'm so proud of her for getting adjusted to, living with me and all my chaos. Because I didn't think I could do it. And, seeing her suffer, I have cried so much over this cat. And, thankfully there are people who care about her that are willing to help out with her. And yeah, so I definitely have to save up to get her teeth fixed because I don't want her to suffer. And I don't want to spend more on medication than I could on surgery. But that's going to take a lot of time. I have a lot of other stuff that I have to do in the real world. I did a lot of spring cleaning that is kind of just creeping into summer cleaning, unfortunately. I got rid of a lot of the clothes that don't fit anymore, so I need to revamp my wardrobe. Not out of a materialism thing, but because I no longer have clothes that fit. I got rid of all the clothes that don't fit. So now I'm either having to make my own clothes from scratch, or I'm going to have to thrift clothes that fit a lot better. So that's a big thing that I'm going to do over the summer. And then my birthday is coming up. I have no idea what I'm going to do for my birthday. But it's going to be exciting hanging out with Mr. Blue in person again. Basically almost twice in the same week. Hanging out with family that I haven't seen in a while. Having two cats now that are going to try to steal my birthday cake. That's going to be cool. And a hazard for me because I'm going to have to shoo away two cats. And yeah. I think I'll get going. I'm feeling tired. Hope you continue to have a good stream and have a good night. Have a good night, Zach. I hope you have good dreams. And thank you for stopping by the stream. Oh, yeah. Although, speaking of streams, this is my first Guerilla stream. Normally, I try to sort of schedule these things. Not really in a proper schedule sense like other YouTubers do, but like I try to think of like, okay, well, if I'm gonna stream, I want to do it on this day, early in the day, so I have time for myself at night. So I do this, I do that, blah, 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 blah. But yeah, this was a Guerilla stream because, again, I'm not sure how much free time I'm going to have this week. And I wanted to stream earlier in the month because, it's Pride Month, it's my birthday month, it's this, it's that. I was going to see the Sonic Symphony, I wanted to play games and hang out with all of you and just talk about all this stuff. And then I couldn't because I was busy and or sick. And then the symphony came up. It's like, welp, I'm not ready for anything. It's time to go watch the symphony. And then I'm alive again, thankfully. And thankfully I didn't go without a voice for the weekend. So that was nice. Let's see what else happened. Yeah, so it was like, you know what? If I try to, be a perfectionist by scheduling streams for myself, I'm never gonna get anything done because I'm just too much of a perfectionist for my own good sometimes. So you know what? Let me just try Guerilla streaming for once, see how that goes. See if I can survive. And lo and behold, I ended up surviving. And, we're going on the 2 hours and 15-minute mark. And it's like, yay, I survived. Yay! Looks at throne. I haven't noticed. More clothes on it the last time that I checked. Yeah, again, I decluttered a lot of my clothes that no longer fit me, or, clothes that kind of caused me trauma that I kept around anyway, thinking I could, turn it into something else that won't cause me trauma, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, it's time to get rid of this thing, and all that. So, yeah. And then it's also coming to terms with like, I've held on to these things for so long, they could go to somebody else in need who needs them. I could turn this into something else. Like, some clothes that I held on to for a long time belonged to my grandmother, who passed away a very long time ago, but I held on to a lot of her clothes. I inherited a lot of her clothing. A lot of it just not fit me, because it is either too big or too small. I kept the stuff that's too big. The stuff that's too small, though, I'm either turning into pillows or I'm turning into other things that will serve me better. So instead of just holding on to the memories of, like, that one shirt or, like, that one blouse that she had, I'm turning it into something that'll serve me for much longer. So, like, by making it a pillow, it's like I could put that in my bed, I could put that on my computer chair, and I'll have my memory of my grandmother with me, instead of it just being a shirt that sits in a drawer that I remember every now and again. And it's, sometimes it's hard. It is hard to get rid of the clothes of someone who is, like, no longer physically here, but, like, they're spiritually here. Whether, you believe in a god, whether you believe in, like, the universe as a whole, whether you just believe in yourself and you're just, like, a random blip of consciousness in, like, the larger galaxy or whatever. It's like, yeah, it can be hard. Because it's like, you're not going to see that person the way you remember them again. So you hold on to their things. But sometimes, like, those things, they can either sit in a drawer or in a closet somewhere, or you can use them. So I kind of came to terms with that. And that's what I'm doing. And then some people might have the objections like, oh, well, that was grandma's. And, you shouldn't do that to grandma's stuff. It's like, well, grandma never really cared about what happened to her stuff after she passed away. So, like, why shouldn't I turn this into a shirt? Why shouldn't I turn this into a scrunchie to remember her by? And all that. So, that's what I did. And it was painful. Like, I can kind of feel the tears starting to well up in my eyes, but I'm not actually, like, bawling or anything like that. But, it's like, And I think it's also, I'm a very crafty person as well. So it's like, I'm kind of in the position where I need new clothes. So it's like, if grandma's clothes don't fit me, then I can alter them maybe and they can fit me better. Or, I can turn this into scrunchies. Or she had, like, some t-shirts that were, like, stained with nail polish and paint. That, like, could not be washed out. So I took one of those shirts that was stained with nail polish and paint. I took the good bits that were not covered in paint, and I'm turning that into a pillow. And then the parts that are covered in paint, I'm thinking of turning them into scrunchies, because I could get a few scrunchies out of that fabric. The sleeves I've already cut up, and I have pinned together to turn it into a scrunchie. What else is there? There's one shirt that might still fit me that I'm thinking of keeping as is. There's another shirt that I love that I actually wore for a while, but now it no longer fits because I just got thick. I got thick with 2 C's, so it no longer fits me in a way that I feel confident in. So I'm thinking, it's a nice print. I'm glad that I saved this print from getting taken up or just given away by the aunts and all the other stuff, and all the other relatives that were digging through grandma's stuff when she passed away. So I'm thinking of turning that into a pillow. And turning the sleeves into a scrunchie because, again, I really loved the print of that shirt. It was like this blue, there was like this aqua blue turquoise shirt with, like, white roses on it. And it was like, if I had to pick one shirt from grandma, this would be it because I love blue roses. But yeah, I'm no longer the size of that shirt. So, clothes have to fit us. We cannot kill ourselves to fit into our clothes. So I'm going to turn it into scrunchies and a pillow at some point. And yeah. Or, like, alternatively, what I could also do is if I found some nice fabric, like a similar fabric to what the shirt is made out of, I could extend it by just adding some fabric onto the sides. But I'm thinking I'm probably going to turn it into a couple scrunchies and a pillow instead, just so I can have it with me in another form, without having to worry about how it looks on me. So yeah, I did a lot of decluttering in that sense. Like, just general clothes that no longer fit me, some clothes that caused me trauma that I didn't have any, like, good experiences in. Like, you ever have those outfits where, like, you get them because you think they look nice, they fit you nice in the beginning, but then you experience, like, a traumatic or just horrible or otherwise bad event in them, and they're kind of stained with that event? I got rid of those too. So I have them all bagged up. I have them bagged up in bags that have, like, up to 10 articles of clothing each. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take them one at a time to a thrift store. The cats are fighting again. I'm going to take them to a thrift store or try to consign them and then maybe hopefully get some extra money out of it. Or if I find, like, an event where I could, like, exchange them for other clothes that are new to me, for little to no cost, that'd be very cool. But yeah, so I'm gonna be busy this summer trying to rebuild my wardrobe. Um, Flea market? Yeah, I gotta look for flea markets. There are a couple thrift stores that I go to. In terms of flea markets, though, honestly, some flea markets in the city can be kind of expensive, and it's like, at that point, it's like, it's almost like retail price. Um, so it's like I go to a flea market and a thrift store to save. If I wanted to go to if I wanted to pay retail price, I would get something new. So yeah, I gotta look for places to get clothes, and I also have a lot of fabric like that I've gotten by the bolt that I plan on turning into clothes. Like I got fabric that I can try to turn into pants. I want to make my own pants this summer, cause another thing I got rid of a lot of was pants because I got thick with two C's. So my thighs have been killing me because as much as I love wearing short shorts, I can no longer wear short shorts because I no longer have the thighs for short shorts because they murder me whenever I walk. Um, and yeah, it's nuts. So I'm trying to make my own clothes. I'm trying to find other clothes because like as much as you try to make your own stuff, you do have to get some already made articles of clothing just because it's convenient. Um, and all that. And it does take time to make like a single garment for yourself. Like I am not a factory. Like I'm trying to make a dress and I wanted to make my own dress for the Sonic Symphony. I couldn't get it done in time because making your own clothes takes a lot of time. So, yeah. I'm seeing a pattern here and it's with C's. Yeah. On the one hand, like it's not like I wanted to be a stick. On the other hand, now it's getting really inconvenient to find myself clothes. That part's kind of annoying. But yeah, and then my birthday's coming up, so I have to finalize plans with my family because my mom has been fucking be like, "Oh, well, what do you want to do for your birthday? What do you want to do for your birthday?" It's like, live. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do with Mr. Blue when he comes to visit for my birthday. Um, might go on another. Unfortunately, it's not going to be going on another Sonic related adventure. Like with the Symphony. I think the Symphony was my big birthday present to for the soul. Because that was a wonderful experience. And thank you all for tolerating me rambling about it and going feral about security, and water. um, and yeah, so this is like the first year I have no idea what I'm gonna do for my birthday. Because for the past couple of years, especially if Mr. Blue came on my birthday, we would go to like amusement parks and like other small adventures. This year, I'm clueless. I have no idea what I want to do. I do know that I want to have dinner somewhere nice and that I would like to go to a certain place from my childhood. But other than that, I mean, those could happen at any time in the month. And I just have no idea what I'm going to do. Yeah. I feel yeah, I was definitely on the large size for a long time. It took a long time to make my weight manageable. Yeah, I'm very much the kind of person where I just gain weight in different areas, so it's not like I just kind of go into a larger size all around. It's I go into a larger size in different areas. And sometimes that's more annoying. Because then it's like, okay, well, I'm a medium in this and I'm a large in that, but I can fit into a small in these if a small is all that they have and all that. It gets very, very annoying. And thankfully I could sew. At least I can alter some clothes. So if I get like a shirt that's like a couple sizes too big, it's easier to take something big in than try to make something small fit a larger size. So sometimes what I'll do now is that I'll get like mostly shirts or dresses because fuck pants, I don't know how to alter pants yet. But if I see like a shirt that's like a nice print or a nice pattern or if it fits me in certain ways that I like and if it's a couple sizes too big, what I will do is I'll buy it, but I'll just take it in to be closer to my size and have it fit me better. Let's just say I have a hard time finding shirts. Do we all have a hard time finding clothes that fit? I guess we are the I guess we are the size challenge club. We have hard times finding clothes that fit, but we manage. And I guess we support each other. I guess that is our support group that we have. And it's concentrating directly in the thigh region. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it could be like that. And yeah, I mean, finding pants is already so hard because, like, they do not make pants the way that they used to. Like, a lot of pants these days, they're either made of tissue paper or they're made way too tight to be very, like, bodycon. And it's like, I just need pants that keep me warm in the winter and make me not want to die in the summer from heat stroke. I just need pants that fit and also that they don't show off my underwear if a gust of wind came and blew up the pant legs and all that. And that'll size us. Yeah, that's the other thing too, because there's something interesting about sizing. So, there's a thing in the fashion industry called vanity sizing. You might be asking yourself, what is vanity sizing? Well, vanity sizing is the idea that different fashion labels will have their own sizing charts, and depending on whether you want to shop to your size or seem skinnier than you actually are, you might prefer one brand's sizing over the other. So for instance, at Target, in their pants, and only in their pants, I'm a medium. However, in Old Navy, or Streetwear Society, I'm a large in the pants area. So if I wanted to look or seem skinnier than I actually am, I might be wanting to shop at Target more, because at least at Target, I'm a medium. And if my goal is to be a smaller size, I might, be looking at Target a little bit more fondly, because, at least there I'm a medium. I don't want to be a large at Old Navy or Streetwear Society, because I'm self-conscious. I don't want to be a large size. So I'm going to shop at Target, because at least there I'm a medium. And all that. So, like, they might be measured the same, but they're going to label it different things to make you, feel a certain way about yourself. So yeah, it's hard buying clothes because, vanity sizing is a factor, unfortunately. Among other things. But yeah, clothes are not made the same way that they used to be made. So I'm learning how to make a lot of my own clothes. Whenever sewing patterns go on sale, sometimes I dabble and I try to find sewing patterns that are relevant to my interests or what I'm trying to make. Scummy tactic, but it works. Exactly. So yeah, vanity sizing is a bit of a tactic. But yeah, it's also like the material that your clothes are made out of too, because again, a lot of pants these days are made to like conform to your body. So like if you don't feel confident in your legs, or if you have some kind of issue where you can't wear tight pants, you might only be able to find tight pants. So I gave away a lot of my tight pants and all my leggings because they were just too tight on my body and I couldn't stand it. And it's like, why can't I just find clothes that fit? It's so annoying. So I'm having to revamp my wardrobe this summer. Part of it is going to be shopping for clothes that already exist, and part of it is going to be making my own. In terms of the dress that I was going to wear for the symphony, had I finished it in time, at least I finished the top portion. So the top portion is already done. I could do other things to it to make it look slightly more professional, but at least I was able to try on the garment, and at least I knew it fit, with very minor adjustments to be made. The thing that took long, and is still taking long because I haven't finished it, is making the skirt portion, which is a lot harder than I thought it would be. And I now found my least favorite thing when it comes to sewing, and that is gathering fabric. I hate it. I hate it so much. Because whenever I tried to gather the fabric on the machine, it got stuck. A lot. And I find gathering easier to do by hand. But I'm making a dress. And, it's the skirt of the dress. And that requires a lot of fabric. And it's just a whole lot of fabric just all over the floor. All over the place. Just collecting dust. And it's just like, God damn it. It's all this fabric that I gotta gather by hand. It's just like one tiny needle with thread. Just manually just gathering fabric and just like piling on and just trying to tie it really tightly together. And it's, I can't stand it. I hate gathering. I hate it. So yeah, gathering and working with elastic. I hate working with elastic unless it's scrunchies. Scrunchies are easy enough to make. Scrunchies are easy to make, but if you ask me to attach fabric to elastic, I'm gonna bite your face off. Because I'm still learning how to do it and I hate it. Just gonna say this huge preach to my mama for being a great sewer. Yeah, like, that's another thing too. Sewing is not a thing that's taught often anymore. Like, I learned from my grandmother, and then the rest I learned online, and I taught myself. And that's part of the reason I don't really, like, I'm kind of underskilled for what I want to do. Yeah. So, like, I learned from my grandmother, I learned myself, but in terms of what I actually want to do, I'm kind of underskilled. Like, I know how to attach zippers, but only, like, pre-made zippers. What else? I can't really work with elastic very well unless I'm making a scrunchie. I can make I can't do an invisible seam. Invisible seams annoy the crap out of me. I'm not good at invisible seams. What else? Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. I can't knit either. My friend Gary is always just like, oh, you should knit stuff, because he thinks knitting and sewing are the same thing, and I'm like, no, it's not the same thing. Those are two completely different things. So he's like, no, you should be a Swiss Army grandma. You should learn how to knit. And it's like, I'm trying. I can't do it. Like, for a while I had a knitting machine, but it broke after, like, the first day I used it, so I had to return it, unfortunately. What about crochet? I've never tried crocheting before, but it's in the same realm of knittings, and I'm not very confident in knitting. What I can do, though, is that if I play around with, like, a ball of yarn, and then I just keep tying knots in the ball of yarn, and I keep tying all the strings together, I can kind of knit that way, but that's very time-consuming. And it's just basically it's tying knots upon knots upon knots upon knots, and it's a very knotty process. But it takes forever, so by the time I make a full scarf or a blanket or a swatch of knitted fabric or whatever, I'll be 90. So yeah, that's fun. I've always been very much a sewing person, so that's like the one fashion skill that I have. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's gonna be a journey though. I'm gonna have a lot to do over the summer, for better or worse. I'm still worried about these cats, but you know, as long as they're not actively in pain, that is good. And you know, hopefully I'll be able to go on more adventures. And hopefully I'll be able to enjoy my birthday, whatever it is I end up doing. And yeah, I do want to stream more. But again, I've just been like so bombarded with all this crap that I've had to do. Like obviously taking care of the cats was a necessity. I couldn't really do much about that. Thankfully, you know, Dust is doing better. Birthday stuff, well, I knew that was coming, but I'm unprepared for my birthday every year. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to stream on my birthday. I might stream the day after. Another thing, unfortunately, is that I don't think I'm going to meet the goal that I wanted to complete before my birthday, because I wanted to complete the model that I actually intend to use full time before my birthday, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. I don't think I'm going to have the time to complete all of it, so that sucks that I don't think I'm going to be able to meet that goal. But yeah, life finds a way to ruin your fun. Exactly! But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff I want to do. A lot of games that I do want to stream, some of which I have to buy and I have to wait for them to be on sale. But then because I have to prioritize just saving up for, cat dental surgery, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to splurge on games. Yeah, I don't know. This is the summer of me getting my life together. Hopefully. Probably not, but I mean, hey, at least I can try. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of all over the place. But hey, for my first Guerilla stream, I managed to survive. So that's pretty cool. And we're already at the 2.5 hour mark. And yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about my experience at the Symphony. And I hope everyone enjoyed all my stories and my crazy doodles. and all the photography that was taken by either myself or my friend Thomas Blue. And yeah. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you all being here. Do you still want craft stuff? Art and craft stuff is always useful. And yeah, I don't know. It's just so nice streaming again too. Like I've wanted to stream for a while now. I wanted to stream earlier in the month, but I wasn't able to. And you know, maybe I could do Guerrilla streams more often. Maybe I just have to stop being a perfectionist and just be like, you know what? If I want to stream, I should just do it. Even if it's like the crack of dawn and I'm the only one in the room. It's like I have to learn to enjoy myself and not be so strict myself. That's one thing that I realize that I have a problem with and I have to learn about. And I have to just learn to go against my own rules sometimes. And yeah. So I hope you enjoyed my Sonic Symphony review / story. Overall, you know, conclusion to try to bring it back to the Symphony. It was an amazing show. I totally recommend seeing it in person because it is much different from the YouTube version. And it seems like every show is different. And they all have different guests. Just depends on who they have in the area, I suppose. And yeah, it's wonderful. I recommend it. I'm so glad it was my first concert. Go see it with a friend if at all possible. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. I hope you all have a good night. And I hope I could see you all again soon, whether it's in the form of a stream or we just pass each other by on social media or something else. Or who knows, maybe I'll see you at a Sonic Symphony one day if I can go to another show. I don't know yet, but I guess we'll see. But yeah, good night, my little starlings. Good night.